Right, that's making a noise, good. OBS is talking. Let's see if YouTube is talking. Hopefully we are. This is where I get to the last one where it was going, it wasn't working, but it quite clearly was. Right. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'll do the same thing as I did last time, trying to get this thing to work. Okay, it says like it's going. Whether it is or not, that's an interesting one. No data. Had this before, but it was going. So I won't do a similar thing that I did last time. I have 10 minutes worth of, yeah. So, right, okay, everybody, welcome. This is going to be another live stream, but with a theme this time. Last time it got a little bit, well, carried away of we started just chatting about bits and pieces. I never actually got to the topic of the conversation that I would have liked to have spoke about. So, I'm just going to try and get the stream going. As long as I can get the stream going, that'll be ideal. Because I just need to get your things up, your chat. And can I remember what I did last time? Get it on your phone. That's what he said last time, wasn't it? I don't know if I can actually do it through the studio app. We'll actually see. No, I can't get it through the studio app. It's no problem. Right, so keep writing your things down because I will get to them as soon as I can find them again. I had this before. Always typical. Was it the actual app itself rather than the studio? Go to the studio one. Let's go back and it'll come up. Don't worry, I'll delete this again. There we go, dashboard. I'm getting emails, we'll have to wait. I have to wait on the emails. Right, so. That looks as though it's going. Good, hello everybody. Right, so I have got some information on there, which is good. I just now need to be able to get it up so I can see it rather than just using my phone to do it. There we go. There we go, and if I can get it, okay, that's good. I can actually see it at least, that's good. Just now to get it up on the, on there, but it's fine. We'll work it, right. So keep putting your comments and questions. Hi, best golf ball between Mizuno and Pro V1, Jamie. Is that the best one between them, as in the case if I had to choose one or the other, which one would I choose? Or the best golf ball between a Mizuno and a Pro V1? That's two different answers. So, hi Ian, how are you? Mark, good evening, good evening, good evening. Right. So if you were to clarify on that one, I'll get the chat up on there as soon as I can work the I think my problem that I have is the fact that I do it via OBS, and I shouldn't. I really should do it via via YouTube directly, because I then get myself in problems. Like now, come on. Are we working? Oh, it's still saying unlisted. This is going to drive me mental. Why does it do that? I can't remember what I did last time. Ah, technology, don't you hate? Right, keep it going because I can actually see it on here. There we go. Which is the better ball, Jamie? Which is the better ball? one that suits you, and that's the only thing. Now that Mizuno have changed their golf ball to a much more in line with Pro V1 when it comes to the cover, they've changed of the Tour, they've changed their spin profile of the golf ball, so it's actually slightly lower spin than the Pro V1. It's kind of bridges the gap between Pro V1 and their low spin AVX, and then the Tour X is kind of like just a normal Pro V anyway, so yeah. That's the whole idea of that one, and just basically just get fit for that one, or just grab a couple and then play with them, see what you think. What's your go-to putting practice drill? Steve Fletcher. Hi, Steve. Stephen. I'm terrible for shortening names. What would I do? I like the gate drill. I'm a great fan of the gate drill. Tiger used to do it with his putter, as in put his putter down, put 2 tees, one on the heel, one on the toe. That kind of idea, and then obviously just putt between them, do it one-handed. That's difficult. And then also you can do it for the ball as well. If you've got a straight putt, you know the line you want to go to, and you want to start, it's basically a start direction drill where you put a gate, which is like an upside down U or an N, I guess, and the ball goes through that, and obviously get different size. Putt out, I think, do them, which is good, but yeah, they are pretty good in itself. I'm gonna just going to drive me insane, this is. Oh, hang on. This could be it. I want to say is it going to work? F5. When in doubt, always F5 something. No, didn't work. Just ordered STZ 230 driving fairway. Hello, Ian. Blew everything else out of the water. Well, again, that comes down to custom fitting, because being honest, is the ST230, STZ, STX 230 any better than a Stealth 2 or a Paradigm or a Ping? Well, Ping's slightly different, but no. They're all as good as each other. There's going to have different variations of different things when it comes to people's understanding of what their requirements are when it comes to mishits, when it comes to what their unique delivery is and stuff like that. So different drivers will naturally suit different people just because of that. But yeah, it's the STZ 230 driver is the best Mizuno driver they have made so far. It's the best one they've made. But now they're happy. Now they got to a point of where they don't think they can keep on doing that yearly cycle of releases and actually get better at the same rate of they have been getting better. So 2-year life cycle, and that's how it should be, really, considering we are talking about well, we're talking about people's money, and when you're talking about people's money, frustrating as it is, yeah, you need to make sure that you spend it wisely, because yeah, it's not very easily come across money, and then it's easily disappeared when it comes to spending £500 on a driver, and you can quite easily spend £500 on a driver. Right, I'm losing the will to live when it comes to YouTube, because it's still not coming up. Oh, I hate this. Ian, back again. Tiger's teeing off now. He's limping. Oh, is he? Drives me insane. That does, unfortunately, with Tiger. I honestly don't think he'll win again, purely because of his problems with his body. All the work that he did in the past when it comes to trying to push himself and push himself and push himself, well, that works great until you get so old that your body starts to say no, like mine does every single time I do a data set, and I've got to hit 40 shots with each ball, each club. Currently I have T7 and T20 wedges, but don't feel confident with them. 22 handicap is the S23, a better fit for me. That's Haxi Abidin. Apologies if I have your name wrong, because I'm terrible at pronouncing names. As nearly as terrible as working out how YouTube Live works when it comes to the chat side of things. Oh, it just drives me insane, this stupid thing does. Because I do have something to go to, because I want to get this working, because it's important I get this working. You can see your own stuff, and then also, yeah, I cannot remember what I did last time. It's like 2 weeks ago, and I clicked on something, it all come along, went, well, there you go. And yeah, Kieran, if you're watching this, Kieran, I know, he's a lovely guy. And he gives me ultimate out of grief, which I love, because me and technology, I'm fairly tech savvy when it comes to a lot of things. I really am. Considering my age, I mean, at the moment, I'm just sorting out my network attached storage because my poor old PC, which sits literally by the side of me here, has 10 terabytes in there and it's full. So I'm having to look at extra ways of sorting that thing out. So, and I'm learning how to do NASes and all the things that go along with QNAPs and stuff. So I'm fairly tech savvy, but when it comes to blooming YouTube Live, as it drives me insane, yeah, it won't allow me to just get what I want on there. And I mean, the worst thing as well, you can't see your chat, which is a pain in the backside because obviously it's quite important. But so the S23, it would be basically down to your stripe pattern. So a T7 and a T20 Haxi, that is still basically a very slight heel biased bladed wedge. And the ES21 was their first, Mizuno's first wedge, which had the attempt at moving centre of gravity much more into the middle like most golf clubs are. But with the way wedges are designed, etc., unfortunately the centre of gravity, the sweet spot is more towards the heel. So people hitting out the middle towards the toe get huge drop-offs when it's especially on the toe because you're not hitting the middle. Income S23 with an actual centred sweet spot, if you're going to miss heel, if you're going to miss toe, you're equal side of a middle point, rather than if you're going to try and hit the middle and hit toe with a heel biased, that's effectively extremely toe, you get huge drop-offs. Test them. And without knowing your strike and how you do things, yeah, that's all I can say. Right, what have we got? David M, evening, what club reviews have you got planned? Well, at the moment, I'm doing my last one of, what's that one? That's the Dusty Forged, there you go, 923 Forged. I'm getting through the last of my requests and then you got the 223. That's the last one I'm doing there for, well, just for today anyway. I'm achy already because I've hit about 100 and something shots with all of these. I think a lot of you guys appreciate what I actually do. Yeah, I'm wearing my screen massively because I hit it in the same spot every single time. So I'm not quite sure how long this screen's going to last because 95% of the screen is looking lovely, apart from one particular strip down the middle and I keep pummeling it. Good evening, no question, just thank you for your honest content. Oh, Harry, thank you. No, you can do it if you want, I don't mind. I'm more than happy for you to have your say. Go for it. Do I get a chance to look at more? Because every single time what I have to do, I have to then go into this, which is probably not the best way of doing it. Just drives you insane. Niels, hello Niels, how are you? I'm considering adding a set GW gap wedge with the same specs as my 923 Hot Melt Pros, replacing the 50-degree Cali MT5. I also have 5458, but it doesn't exist. What would be a sensible alternative to the normal 923 gap wedge? Yeah, I mean it's designed to blend. The gap wedge is designed to blend, so you wouldn't be wrong in what you're thinking. I would not. The difficult thing is I would always say test, but it's very difficult to test. Is it working? Small victories. Sorry, Kieran. Where is Kieran? Go on, Kieran. Jump on and call me an idiot. Or just message me afterwards and call me an idiot, because I am. Right. Well done, everybody. We are here. Okay. Yeah, I would. Grunt Newman, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I do. Size back. I'll tell you what, so I'll just get to your one afterwards because I need to finish off Neil's question. So, you're not, okay, with the gap wedge and the 923, it's, with the Hot Metal Pros, I wouldn't have no problem with the gap wedge, put it that way, of the Hot Metal Pros. or hot metals, because they're all one wedge really. Because they're designed to blend when it comes to lofts, although I would be looking at possibly something like an S23 depending on your... I'm really impressed with the S23 wedge just because of the potential of how many people that will fit into, and they're oblivious to it. They just don't know about it, don't even think about it as an option, and the amount of difference that that could make to someone's wedge game when it comes to their consistency of hitting distance. Yeah, but I mean, there's other wedges like the S23. I mean, every high toe wedge has a much more centered sweet spot because of just obviously the extra mass on the toe, so that has the effect of moving it much more centered. Right, so, Si, let's get to your one. Even Jay, in your opinion, what is the most forgiving driver of 2023 from a toe strike? As you know, I love hitting toe. You do. I would still say a ping. Ping are still the daddy when it comes to forgiveness, because even though they've lightened their heads by a few grams, they are still up there when it comes to MOI, resistance to twist, all that lot. Now, again, when it comes to toe strikes, much better than heel, and so depending on what your dynamics are, I mean, I toe strike nearly every single time I hit driver. I'm either, yeah, slightly high toe is my generalized miss. So depending on what your dynamics are, my dynamics of a driver is slightly across, slightly open, fractionally, but because I toe it, it gears it with a draw every single time. So I am ball dynamics efficient, club dynamics not as efficient as I possibly could be. So I reduce my potential ball speed down a fraction, or smash factor, or efficiency, how people call it, because I'm purposely trying to hit it fractionally off. When I say fraction, I'm talking a matter of very small millimeters off the high toe. Paul Stewart, how did you learn how to manage strikes well? Practice. So when I do my data sets, when I hit countless shots of which people, what I will do one day is I'll possibly do a live stream of me, and the problem is, so today I need to keep an eye on my battery for this actually. Yeah, keeping an eye on my battery for that, because some idiot didn't remember to charge his battery up for the wireless microphone. Did on that one, but not on the receiver. So if it goes quiet, it won't do, because I can actually see on the side camera the bars moving up. So we're good at the moment. I should do a live stream so you guys can actually see live what I do and how many shots I hit and the ridiculous nature of it. Oh, I've noticed that hasn't come up. Why has that not come up? Is it? It's come up on the screen here. I'll tell you what. Let's pop out chat. Let's see if I can go that one. Control insert, go over to that one, chat in the box. This will work now. Ready, set, go. There you go. OBS, YouTube, these lovely things. Now, if I did this every day, I mean, obviously I'd get used to doing it all the time. So there you go. You can actually see everybody's attempt at everything. We'll just wait for another message from someone. It will go scroll through. Right, I'll go over to here because it's probably a little bit better version of me trying to work out. Mitch Leask, what's the best way to maintain a single-digit handicap without playing every week? Constructive practice. Live stream club testing is brave. Dave, I tell you what, it is. And it is a brave one, actually, because when I don't get it right, or when I don't do something, I have the occasional swear, and I've got to be careful I don't on a live stream. But yeah, so no, basically when it comes to I'll probably hit, because I'm purposely mishitting certain shots, so I need to make sure that I do a large enough data set of me purposely hitting decent shots so it doesn't blur the data when I have bad ones, because I can't just if I deselect them, it makes the golf clubs look, the dispersion rings look like that, and it doesn't accurately represent what happens when you actually mishit. So when you hit out the heel or toe, it does have drop off. I want to sort of see the dispersion rings. The problem is if I just did 2 or 3 good shots and then 2 or 3 bad ones, the dispersion rings would be the same size, but standard deviation, etc., would be massive, and it would blur the actual information that I'm trying to get across. I need to try and get across how good a golf club is, or how bad a golf club is, or how well this works or how well it doesn't work, but then also need to be able to intersperse the misses in there without messing the data up. That's the whole idea. It's working now. There we go. I can actually do it by this one. What we got now? I've got a theme. I really need to get through the theme of this, because it seems like every single time I start doing one of these things, we get like loads and loads of questions. Live stream club testing is brave. We've got that one. Yes, it is. I'm 70 years old and going to test the new Dire Power irons. My club speed is for 7 somewhere between 80 and 85. What do you think? 70 years old and 80 to 85 miles an hour. Chris, that's impressive. That is, for a 70-year-old, that is impressive. Test everything. Test anything you can get your hands on from a point of view if it's cheap. The only thing I've got with the DTC irons is the direct-to-consumer. They offer a potential cheap way of getting a half-decent golf club, but it's very, very difficult to be able to test them first. You can say, well, I know what my spec is for my set, can I get them custom fit and stuff like that, but because all heads are slightly different when it comes to standard, then you've got to make the compensation for that. All heads are slightly different weight, so then obviously that will change how shaft deflection changes. Well, that means you need a different shaft, and it all gets really complicated. It's a pain in the backside, but yeah, 80 to 85 miles an hour with this being 70. Kudos. Franz, is that Hoost? Is that a J like a H or a juiced? I don't think it's going to be a juiced. Franz Joss, sorry. I struggle with excess loft and spin. Would a 3-wood or a shortened 5-wood allow me to get steeper? Okay. Be a better option as a fairway club or a shortened 3-wood. When you've got this kind of swing struggle, I wouldn't be looking for equipment. I would be looking at a tweak of the delivery, because you're always going to be chasing the dragon as such when it comes to that. You're trying to find equipment to go to extreme in a way that will enable you to control flight when you are the person who's causing the issue. It's difficult. It really is. So I would suggest to go see someone, a decent one with launch monitors such as Quad, GC2HMT. TrackMan's pretty good at certain things and stuff like that. So that's, yeah, you can do that as well. But yeah, I would tweak the swing slightly rather than, like, if it's that situation, I wouldn't go down equipment. I'd tweaky the swing. Chancellor. Hello, Chancellor. Love the name. Just got some Hot Metal Pros fitted last week, and I totally forgot to tell the pro to order different grips. Bummer. What are the standard grips you get with a custom set M31s or just all velvets, effectively? They will come with just standard. I think they are, I want to say they're 0.58s. Are they 0.58s? Don't know, I can't remember now what standard is for Mizuno. It will say on their website actually what the standard grip size and stuff like that is. But from, I think off the top of my head, it used to be M31s or just standard, effectively a Tall Pride black rubber golf grip, similar to what I use. I mean, I quite like the +4 standard ones, but yeah. Don't worry about swearing, it's a fundamental part of golf. Yeah, when you throw me a club. No, I don't do that. Don't hurt my screen. But yeah, it will be an interesting test, because obviously that, from a point of view of doing a live stream, because it takes hours for me to do what I do here. It takes hours, and then I've got to edit everything. I've got to get all the information from that camera there, that camera over there. I've got cables that go across and get it onto the PC. Now I've got my NAS down there, so I can then start churning some information from the 10 terabytes worth of rubbish, not rubbish, just archived stuff that I can go back to when I'm talking about, say, if I'm referencing something. I can turn my phone off now. If I'm referencing something that I did 2 years ago, it's on there. I can then bring it up on the screen and do that. So I need to keep it, hence that. But yeah, it takes ages. Then you've got to edit it, which then takes ages. And because I've got a half decent internet connection, but I like to upload my stuff for about 6:30 in the evening UK. And so if I haven't finished editing by 3:45 at the very latest, before I finish editing, then I've got to encode it to be able to then upload it and stuff. Yeah. YouTube drives you mental. Right, Grunt Norman, someone with a push to a push slice. What would you suggest for me to try and work on practice-wise to hit a straight out or even hit it straight with a draw? So push slice. So push is just path out to the right, into out path, face straight to path. Just goes right, stays right. Push slice is when you have that path to the inside, the face dreaded open. Excuse me. I need a YouTube drink in a minute, but it is of a certain variety, which I won't put on camera before YouTube complains that it's some form of brand allegiance. So it's path orientated. If you've got a path that's from the inside a lot, now I'll be wary. I was thinking about transferring over to that one, but the other cameras, but to demonstrate. But I've also remembered that I haven't as yet sorted out the microphone. So as soon as I transfer over there, you can't hear me. So I would change path. If you change path with a push and then you'll push slice, your face is either straight or open. So if you then convert that to moving your path more neutral, more towards target, you're going to have a shot towards target or a fade off. But that's one going to target, and then one then fading away from target, rather than one kind of going away, not at target, and one not going at target, even further off target. So I would do path first. Donkey, I'm looking at Mura. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I do like Mura stuff. KL question, have you ever seen flyers off the tee for a forged game improvement like Restrictions ZX5? Yes. YouTube drink. Can I get away with? YouTube drink. Yes. So my issue with the ZX7s, the old ZX7s, was the reason I didn't do a review of the ZX7s is because they were little rocket ships. And the way I used to hit them, just the way they suit me, I was getting really, really low spin numbers. Other people tested them and it wasn't so much of a problem. They were still low spin, but I didn't put a review up because if I'd have put the review up and it was very, very much so individual to me that they were too low spinning and they're worrisome. But that's just for me. But yes, the answer to your question, I have definitely had that happen. Paul Stewart, can you trust a fitting with TrackMan with range balls? And the fitter's only complaint with your numbers is too much spin. Who said earlier on? It was David, wasn't it? Don't worry about swearing. Tried to fit me for a triple diamond. Hang on, bear with. That thing. Make sure I'm in focus. This thing is a wondrous piece of kit. It is blooming lovely. This is my favourite of all the Paradigms. I still need to edit the review of the triple diamond, but I'll be honest, when it comes to, no one really cares too much for triple diamond. There's going to be about 6 people that watch it. So in my needing to get done review wise, this is not high on the list of must make sure I edit, but that is a blooming good thing. However, she is a sensitive old girl. So for the love of all that's holy, just don't mishit it. because you haven't got, so these is a low spin head, you haven't got to worry about, you know, those low spin hooking shots that go shong left or whatever it be for a right-handed golfer. You haven't got to worry about this going left. It doesn't have enough spin. It just hits the ground. It just dips out the sky so quickly. It doesn't go chance to get left because it just hits the ground square. It's sensitive. It's a lovely golf club and it's a boomer. It really is. But if you got speed, like I haven't seen Alex Etch's golf box, the Aussie. Well, he's not Aussie, but he's in Australia. Lovely guy. Alex makes me die. He's funny. He's got speed. If he's got speed, he can get a triple D to work. Definitely, he'll get in triple D working. Right, let's go. I really need to. Well, we're having a little bit of a wig out, are we? There we go. Right. I need to stop doing this, stop answering questions, because I did have a theme for tonight. Pronounce Euster, Franz. Thanks for that. I'm useless. So, Paul, by the way, yeah, that's horrific. Plenty of people fit on TrackMan. Okay, that's fine. TrackMan does things exceptionally well. There's a lot of things that it doesn't do what I would like it to exactly, but it's fine. And it does certain things better than Quad. But range balls, unless they were absolute real proper golf balls, which generally speaking most ranges aren't because the cost, it would be colossal, and not unless you're paying like £30 for 100 balls. Yeah, too much spin. Well, range balls launch lower, spin more. They will never get fit with range balls, dear me. I mean, that really just winds me up, because that's going to cost you guys money. There's going to be fitters. I mean, Paul, you were lucky enough that you had the resilience to say no. A lot of people, it's the first time they've got fit. They're ignorant to it. They do not know anything. And then you get people which are sales biased. It's commission-based sales, and it drives me mental. You should go to someone who gets paid for the fitting. You should pay for a fitting, and that is how the fitter or the coach or it doesn't matter, is the expert gets paid and gives you absolutely unbiased, honest information, not trying to persuade you to buy something. It just drives me mental. I have never sold a single thing. I cannot count how many times I have done data sets with different people with their own golf club and a custom fit golf club, and I have honestly said to them, unless you want something shiny, I couldn't justify the tangible benefit in changing for 4 yards or anything. No. So I'm quite honest with it, and I say, look, if I wouldn't bother if, yeah. Anyway, rant off, finished. Thank you, boss. Easy, a little bit. So, yeah, chance no. Andy C, JPX Forge Apex CF21s. It's really, really, really a good question. I have got I had the CF16s and I loved them. I did love them, really. I always go back to blades. I've messed around over the years with different types of golf club and stuff, but I will always return to blades, because there are certain distinct benefits you get from blades which people don't get, and they should spend more time understanding. Hashtag the last video that I think I released. I think it was, yeah, the 923 Tour and the 221. Rob S, hi Jay, have you seen a channel called Cool Clubs? I haven't seen it, I've heard about it though. They do robot testing across the face, and I think the way they visualize it is quite cool and easy to interpret. Possibly, definitely, yes. From what I understand and looked at, they do some form of mapping. I saw a picture of it or something or other. And it's really good. It's gonna put me out of business. So, my next YouTube channel is going to be on gardening. There you go. I'll become a landscape gardener and do YouTube on that instead. But yeah, it's great. I can't justify buying a robot. I'm here. No. Chancellor, have you tried to change the order? My Mizunos took 2 or 5 or 6 weeks. At the moment, can't get my worms out today. At the moment, Mizuno's time is 7 to 10 days for working days for custom fit turnarounds. Ping are running at 3, and yeah, others depending on lots of things. Mark King, hi, big fan. Well, I've been called many things, never been called big before. No, I get it, yeah. Hi. How you doing, Mark? Fran's back playing an STG 220. Good on, boy. I've got one around here somewhere. On a counterbalance shaft, yes, good. With an additional weight at the bottom, 2 in the heel, 1 in the toe. Have you really? Should the toe be forward or back? What difference should I see between the two? Should the toe be forward or back? Okay, 2 in the heel, 1 on the toe. Should the forward? Okay, so basically, okay, I'm with you now. So effectively, if you did that, you would change not only the spin profile of it, but you'd also change potentially the rotational factor of the head. You would change the gear effects, possibly, depending on how it would work. I mean, that's a really, really good, technically interesting question. And this all depends on your dynamics of how you deliver a golf club and what your strike point is. So, I mean, it's a really interesting question. If I knew finitely how you delivered a golf club, it would be a very, well, some people won't find it interesting, but yeah, it's a physics-based question, and it's quite interesting how understanding how a three-dimensional body works as it's moving aerodynamically through the air, and then the noise that happens when you impact with a center of gravity golf ball, which is not in line with the center of gravity of the head. It's quite an interesting thing, but yeah, well, some people think about it, some people don't. Goldfish, oh, hang on, I'll go back up because how many have I got? Holy moly, I need to get going with this and stop taking so long answering people's questions. Goldfish, 45 degrees for us. What, 7 degrees centigrade? Okay, southern Minnesota, warmest day in the last 75. Still a foot of dense snow on the ground. My thoughts are with you, they really are. Full story, yep, the very one. Yeah. Don Keat, have you ever tested Miuras? What do you think? Are they low? I haven't properly tested as in the test that I do here. I have had a go with Miuras. Lovely. Lovely. Chance that no, KL, the way that already guy said was called him. He said he would regrip them at a nice discount when I went in and bought the. Yeah. What is it the guy said when I called him? He said he would regrip them. Mizuno will do it, but the worst case it will, no, you could ask for it. As long as they're not in production. If they're not in production, they will change the order. The problem is to change the order, chances are they will put it back on the, because when they change the system, it's not just a case that they can just make alteration systems. Sometimes they have to reorder it as such, and it gives it a new number, which is obviously further down the list and you have to wait longer, but it doesn't matter. As long as you're happy, it's absolutely fine. And the guy got a nice Mizuno BRDC bag out of it as well, so it's fine. He's getting the profit margin from that, so he should do those grips at trade plus fat. Well, I would anyway, but I won't want to fit them because I don't like getting dirty, but yeah. Got it for 175, says 280 asking price online, yeah. Okay, Luke Davies, where would you rate the Mizuno Pro 225 compared to everything on the market this year? 225 is still a very, very good golf club. Now, out of distance-wise, is it going to win the distance sector? No, for its loft. But when it comes to, there's many other golf clubs which have longer distance, not necessarily through ball speed, but just adjustments in spin profile. They can spin the golf ball lower and effectively then get more distance from that. Then I've got problems with that in itself. Golf clubs which just basically reduce the spin to make something go faster is sail based and not in any way, shape or form thinking about the golfer and how they can play golf, because every single situation apart from a fairway bunker or a bunker in general is designed to take spin off the golf ball. If you already have a golf club with low spin on it and then you catch something, a blade of grass between the golf ball and the, yeah, you can see it's, yeah, good luck trying to control that and you'll go. Right, Adam, hello Adam, how are you? Hey Jay, have to head off to work but caught a bit of the chat. Just bought a G425 Vintage Blacks. Whoa, that's one of them, that is. Vintage Black 7X, still rocking real Rogue, rocking teal Rogue driver. They were one of the most forgiving drivers that Callaway have ever made, the original Rogue. They were really good. Paul Stewart saying, Fitter said 1800 spin for 4 up was great. Well, Well, do you know, yes, 1800 spin profile, depending on the speed you've got. If you've got 155 plus miles an hour ball speed, 1800 spin, 4 degrees up is great. My problem would be what's going to be the profile when you hit it slightly high toe or deliver slightly less loft and stuff like that, and then that's just going to be, knuckleball is not the word, that's going to be dropping into the 1200s, 1000s, and the ball's just going to fall out of the air. So yeah, baseline spin profile needs to be slightly higher than absolute perfect, because any fitter that tries to fit you for absolute perfect baseline is just trying to sell you something on the base of distance, not functionality. A driver needs to be long, yes, but I always fit people for a slightly higher, not massively high, but slightly higher baseline spin profile, so when they mishit it, it drops down to their absolute perfect and it hits it longer, hits it well out of the middle, and the only one that's penal, which is slightly low on the face or whatever it be, so it gear up in spin, which they do anyway. So yeah. Don't know. I got fitted for the original sim because the range balls didn't end well. Wasn't even within a month. No. See, that's what irritates me. The retailer should understand their misdemeanor there and take it back at cost to them. That's how strongly I feel about that situation. Goldfish, do you use certain parts of obsessive compulsive disorders to make your review so good? I am fairly OCD about things. I have my way of doing things. I understand certain people are not going to like the way I do certain things. Certain people haven't got the time to listen to me for that long. I understand that as well. But I do honestly feel that the information that I have to put across, if anyone gleans anything from it to the positive, then I've done my job properly in that sense. It's a game. This is a game. We all enjoy doing what we do, and it's daft, it's frustrating, it's irritating, but it's fun. So the last thing I want is for people to waste their money whilst they're doing it. If you're going to spend some money, fair enough. If you can justify spending money, even better. Let's make sure you spend it wisely. And do it right first time rather than buying 3 times. Yeah. Sean. Hello, Sean. How do you have any suggestions for the most forgiving players' cavity back? I don't need a distance players, distance irons or game improvement provide, but still want something I can hit. So you're basically looking for something with a cavity with loft. That's an interesting one, because that's generally speaking difficult. I230. There you go. I230 is a rocking iron. It's still got loft, still got cavity, still very forgiving, still feels really nice. Probably one of my favourite irons on the market today. There you go. Mr. Cram 1337. Now, I'm assuming Mr. Cram 1337 that there was 1336 other Mr. Crams for you to get that one. I didn't realise there were that many Mr. Crams. Going to be starting my 2nd year of golf. Well, good. I'm a little tall. Is that a double negative? I'm average height. I'm a little tall, and my starter clubs are all 1/2 inch short. Recommend getting fit for a full bag or stick with shorter clubs for longer. Well, it depends on your posture and everything else. So it depends on your posture, depends on how your biomechanics are. So I have fit people which are 5'6" for longer shafts. Why? Because they've got arms like a T-Rex. Yeah. I've also fit 6'5" for standard length golf clubs. Why? Because they've got arms like silverback gorilla that drag the knuckles across the ground because their arms are so long. And so you have to take the individual, not just the height. So on basis of just no information other than you're a little tall, then I can't say if it's right or wrong. I'd need to see you, I'd need to see how your posture is, how your span is and stuff like that, to give you a proper answer. But there are many, many different answers, not just a classic. I love Ping, but I cannot stand their static Ping fitting. It's ridiculous because it doesn't take into account many different things. Doesn't matter. Paul Stewart, cheers, going to watch the golf. Good. Enjoy the golf. Rob S, the blade of grass has grown 1 mil high. This blade of grass has grown 1 mil high. Rob, you're going to have to explain that. My brain is not. Yeah. I'm going to get onto this topic, and because I need to get, because everyone keeps on answering really like interesting questions, but I'm not getting through what I want to do. Right, let's do this. I think Class Groove said, I think the Ping G series of irons peaked with G400. What do you think? You could argue it peaked at G30. Rob S, I mean the robot testing is one thing, but the visualization is something that can be used without robot testing. Yeah. Christopher Janju, I play the Apex Pro 21, so do you think the 223 MP are the closest in size? Possibly, yeah. I mean, ooh. Talk of the devil, devil shall appear. There you go, that's your 223. Yes. What would I choose? That's an interesting one, because I think the 223 may feel slightly nicer because of the copper, but who am I? It depends what you want from an iron and how they perform. So either or. Chris Fernando, best 18-12 handicap irons. Chris, if you know me, not about handicap, it's your strike consistency and what kind of delivery you do. If you've got decent strike consistency, it doesn't matter if you're a 20 handicapper, you can play blades if you're in and around the middle. When I say in and around the middle, you can be ½ inch plus off the middle and still have an absolutely decent shot. No problem whatsoever, exactly the same as every other game improvement iron. When it comes to a G430, the reason why G430 is more forgiving than a blade is because you can hit a G430 25 millimeters off the middle, which you can't a blade, and you'll kind of get away with it. It still won't be a very good shot, but it'll be better than a blade. But if you're hitting that far away from middle, like 25 mil, you need a lesson, not a G430. So when it comes to best 18-12 handicapper irons, I think handicap should be made up of like strike consistency when we're trying to work out what golf clubs to choose for people. Don Geek, thanks Jay, no problem. Andrew Storm, a friend built his own set of JPX 223 tools, 923 tools. Adding tip weights to match the swing weights, when you do that, does that not move the CG sweet spot more heel side, making it less forgiving? Absolutely. There's a reason why Ping utilise the 2 ports. They've got obviously one at the front, which on the side of the front you can see, which is a little screw. It's not square. There's an access point where they can put tungsten and stuff, and also they do the exact same thing. They put tungsten tip weights down the shaft of the hosel, so that by doing that they can balance it out. So yes. But it's an interesting way, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I love how people tinker. Love the channel, and thanks for answering the questions, friends. SCG question may be an idea for a geeky video, or for about 4 people that would watch that. Or friends, you can watch it 60 times if you want. We got 64 views. Alex Yelski, hi Jay. I was comparing Apex TCB irons against 223s and was confused by the fact I was getting basically the same carry numbers despite Mizuno's having a stronger loft. Thoughts? Strike, delivered dynamic loft difference. I'd need to know your delivery to actually see the difference. Yeah, I would do. You can, as soon as you have head data, this is the whole idea of having head data, guys. If you have head data, there is no question. There is no, oh, I wonder where that was doing. I'm not quite sure there. You've got the head data. You can analyze it, critique it, and work out straight away why one thing is working better than the other one. It's simple when you have the information. Why people don't go somewhere where they have, where is it? HMT dots. These little things costs. These cost about £130. These cartridges we've got dots on, they're £130 each. There you go. But use those. I mean, yeah. So, Ian, it should be CDO or the same order. Ian, you are funny. I like that. Well done. Rob S was just a reference to you becoming a guard. Ah, yes. Well done. See, I even forget my own jokes sometimes. Donkey, I am looking for new irons, thinking about Mizuno 221, 225, all restrictions at X57s. I really love the 221s, but don't know if I'm good enough. Test them. Okay, when people test blades, the reason why they don't think they're good enough is because as soon as you hit off of middle, within a few millimeters, you feel it. You get distinct feedback as go, oh, that wasn't very good. And they translate that feeling straight away into, these aren't working. When if you actually look at the ball data given straight from a certain shot, actually, it's done fine. It's the feedback that you get, which people don't like. And that's what they translate in their head to, I'm not good enough to play blades. Has no actual reflection at all on the physical shot that was just hit. There you go. Handicap, current irons, new level 1031s. Donkey, I am hitting them pretty well in the middle, maybe a bit toe. I need to go up so I can see what Dom's doing. Oh, sorry Don, I got loads. 60 times deal. French, yeah. Christopher, best all-round wedges? Oof. Oh wow, because wedges are so unique, as in a case of full swing's full swing, but if you look at the short game, wow, that is a year in itself. I can't, you could not pick what the best all-round wedges are unless you were talking about a specific individual had specific requirements. And then you'd look at that person and go, right, for your delivery and for how you deliver, really you need to be trying these and these. Yeah. Goldfish, iron swing, 75 miles an hour. I remember hitting one memorable flyer in my life. 60 are flyers reserved for fast swing speeds. Yeah, to a certain extent. Don Geek, thanks, Joe. I would test 221s. Good, right. So now I think I've caught up. Right, I have caught up. Good. So I'm going to get on to what I was going to do. Now, okay, quickly, I have been doing some learning on YouTube, and I've been trying to work out a way that I can put across to golfers a quick and easy way of reducing their handicap without them looking at how they swing, because I don't like doing traditional content. I don't like doing coaching-based content on YouTube. I don't like doing it. Why? Because you have to teach the individual, you can't teach the group. If you teach the group, and you don't know what the group is, I'm just looking at a camera lens and I've got you guys watching me, and I get on really well with you on the chat and stuff like that, but I don't know your swing. So how can I give information direct to you when I don't know if it's gonna make you better or worse? So I don't do coaching content, only I do generalized stuff. So when it comes to doing this, I've worked out an idea. Lots of game improvement type irons have big tungsten toe weights. Do this in effect make them fade bias, which would be weird when you consider what they're marketed at? Not necessarily, depending on obviously the construction of the rest of the head. Sometimes they need that tungsten in the toe to try and make them well, obviously distribute the weight differently depending on obviously how the heel and hosel construction is, and what the rest of the technology and how much they've taken out the rest of the head and all that lot to make it super springy and blah da 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 da. So it's very yeah, when it comes to golf club design, if you're a metallurgist and a very physics freak geek in your head, yeah, it's actually a fun job. So I was on the internet and I found this. So what I'll do, if I can get this right, I'm not quite sure if I can. There we go. So if I was to start this, now bear with me on this. Right, now, so you will not see the, unfortunately you won't see the chat because I blocked it out. So basically, training for distance or direction. I don't really care about the distance bit. Could I put myself, I can't really put myself over there. I am still here. So I am still here, yeah. So I'm not a great fan of the whole idea of training for distance or I mean, I like the idea, everyone's got to have distance and stuff like that. So if everyone can just get another 50 yards, brilliant. But if you've got another 50 yards and you're that far offline, you're just gonna be 50 yards further offline. I've been looking at that article, which is quite interesting, and I'll flick over to it again so you can actually see, because obviously, right, and I will talk in the background, and you can hear me talking in the background. And so I'll flick over to the next one. Right, so basically that's calculations and statistical analysis. Don't bother reading everything, you don't have to, but effectively you are at the small part of the triangle and you are hitting shots down the fairway, and then you have your side total is your dispersion, your left to right of middle. And so depending on what your handicap is, you have, without you even knowing it, you have an amount which is absolutely fine for your handicap. I will then, I'll tell you what, I'll pop back again to me so you can see, don't get too bored of, yeah. Right, so how many times have you gone down? Oh, Don, thank you very much for that very, 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 very kind donation. Just noticed that one, thank you. Appreciate that. I do get very heartfelt when people do that. That's really, really kind of you. Supports the channel. That's really good. Oh, par maker chance that my local pros giving the BRDB FOC with an order of more than 6 clubs, maybe not so much of a bargain when you think 175. Guess it's a Mizuno offer. Yes, it is. It's a Mizuno offer which has now finished. I know Mizuno were running a BDRX. They, shall we say, had many in their warehouse that they wanted to basically, again, they over-ordered, let's be honest, they over-ordered. And then the accounts couldn't take as many of them as they could do, so they had loads of left. So they thought, you know what should we do? We'll do a FOC bag when it comes to a qualifying custom order. And it worked. They went mental. So there you go, they solved their bag issue. Blooming good bag. I wanted one actually because that's the only, it's a 14-way divider and a carry, and I like that. But yeah. So if you think, oh, hang on, do you think after 24 handicap who's having lessons play ping I230s absolutely in the market for a new irons as my current G25s are now wrong line length. G25s can be bent. G25s can be bent like you wouldn't believe, so lie can be fixed. Length is a different thing, but if it's very, very small, I don't buy into strongless loft is your friend. It is. D-plane will explain that one, definitely. Yeah, so you have your handicap, you have a certain level of deviation that you can do when it comes to the amount as you go offline. And as you get better, you are supposed to deviate less and stuff like that. But you're going to have in your bag, you're going to have all your shots of all your irons, you're going to have different deviations between them. How many times have you seen this? How many times have you seen people go down the driving range and the first thing you do is pick out their 7-iron, hit loads of shots with their 7-iron, and then about 12 shots in, they go get their driver out, whack loads of drivers, and then then that's when they finish. Then they turn around and say, do you know what? I really hate my 5-iron. Really don't get on my 5 and my 7-iron. I really like my 7-iron. Well, that's the one you practice with all the time. Generally speaking, people always keep on practicing with the clubs that they like. And of course, when you look at their dispersion, their deviation from, or their miss hits, or their miss target shots, dispersion, they're fine with their 7-iron. Well, yes, because you use it all the time, but your 5-iron is terrible. Why? Because you don't practice it. Now, so people may not be able to articulate that. They just do it in a way which it reflects in their practice. So you see people, unfortunately, do that. Now, so if you use this idea, and I'll possibly put a link in there, I'll move it over to the next one, right? Here you go. So if you were to look at this one to a certain extent, so this goes into a bit of distance as well. I'm not talking about the distance increase and obviously the importance of that. And I'm not even going into the 75th percentile, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go into that one, yeah? Because it gets complicated, but effectively, if you look at your standard deviation dispersion, yeah, your standard degree line offline. If you're a pro between 64 and 79, okay, I know a person who shoots 78 is not a pro, but you know what I mean, it's grouped. T distance 300 yards at 4 degrees. That's absolutely acceptable, as long as you, and that 4 degrees can be what, 22 yards or 23 yards or whatever that, I mean, you can go get a triangle calculator and work it out. Whatever that, that distance dispersion is, that's fine. Also then when it comes to AM1, AM2, AM3, you can see where you are when it comes to that group. And then the one underneath that is then PJ Tour player, 80 golfer, 90 golfer, 100 golfer, 115 shots golfer, and then the improvement that they can get per by increasing either distance or the degree in deviation from target. I'll go flick over so you can see me again, because if not, it just gets a little bit boring just going like that. Oh, I've just noticed that and literally just flicked over. Alex. Oh, my beverage fund. That's a YouTube drink. Hang on. Not allowed. Promoting whatever that is, I don't know. Thank you, Alex. That's lovely. Really appreciate that. That'll be able to, yeah, keep me hydrated on my next 100 shot data set for whatever review or comparison I do next. Right. Don, just to thank you for your time and yeah, thank you. Your info helps me make better decisions, and that's the whole idea. I try and make give as much information as I can in the most honest way as I possibly can, because I see loads of stuff on the internet and I'm thinking, look, there's got to be a better way of doing this. There's got to be a more honest way of getting information across. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Don. It really is appreciated. Cheers, Alex. Appreciate it. Right, so you can see the information there. That basically means that everyone has a certain distance offline that they can be. If you look at this table next time, and doesn't matter what golf club, this goes from 160 meters up to 320 yards, so from like 6 iron, 7 iron, all the way up to driver. But this translates all the way down to pitching wedges and stuff like that. So we'll go into that one later. But you can see there, if I'll transition across here. So let's go by the yardage, which is the bottom part, not the top part, that's in meters. But at 3 degrees at 160 yards, that's an 8 yards miss. Yeah, left and right. Oh, hang on. Left and right. So not just total, we're not talking 8 yards, 4 yards this way, 4 yards that way off target. It's 8 yards either side. 16 yards miss potential, yeah? That's a 3 degree, right? So there we go. I just wanted to make sure. Probably getting a little bit animated. But then, yeah, and then when you go to looking at 4 degrees, at 5 degrees and 6 degrees and 7 degrees. So you can actually see there what kind of handicap you are and where you should be by going the previous one, which I think was not that one there, where you are when it comes to if you're in AM1, AM2, AM3, what your standard deviation will be. And obviously if you are between, you can see 84, 97, 6.4, 97, 120 is 8.1. You could actually work out what these stages in between are if you really want to get anal about it, but within reason. If I was say, look at this one, if I was say I'm I'm shooting 90, yeah, I'm looking at that and saying that's 6.4. And then if I'm shooting like 95, that's getting closer to 8 to 7.8, you kind of get the idea. And if I'm shooting in the 86s, I'm closer to the 5.4 than I am the 6.4, but you kind of get the idea. But if you round it, you're not going to be too far off. Let's go flick back to me so you don't get bored just seeing a screen like that. So you utilize that idea, and I think it was, so what is a good way to make your training direction accuracy focused? Right, so first of all, you need to understand which one you need to work on, which is your miss, shall we say. So when you play golf, do you use GPS stuff? Do you measure how your misses are left and right? Or do you just hit shots and go, I hit my watch said it was this? Well, yeah. But you need to be measuring left and right, whatever the distance you hit, but how much your dispersion is, so off the middle. You could even pace it out from the middle. I know it's, as long as you don't take too much long, but you could actually pace it from the middle of the fairway out to where your board is and keep an idea of what you're doing. Some apps actually give you a GPS locator and you could do it afterwards and stuff like that. If you were having your lessons, use the data that you're getting from your lessons, whether it be on TrackMan or any form of launch monitor, that should give you your offline amount. And then like that idea, you can gain, there's so many different ways that you can gain the information that you need for, I've hit 20 shots or 10 shots with each, take your outliers out. If you shank one, unless you're shanking every 3, just take that one out. There's no point in counting that one, but just do your normal shots, see what your dispersion is. If your dispersion outside, your angle, yeah, is worse than what your handicap should be, yeah, in that bracket, you need to work on that iron. No point in getting your 7 iron out and keep on hitting that, and you basically end up 3 degrees on that one and 8 degrees on something else. You'll lose a lot more on those ones that you hit 8 degrees than you will do the 3. You can't hit a 7, well you can hit a 7 iron everywhere I guess, but yeah. Arcos has given me the stats, no end, so I have those, good. David M, interesting stats, I will have a proper geek out on those at work tomorrow. Yeah, you can search on Google if you want for the whole article, which is interesting. I'm not prescribing to the distance thing yet. I'm just talking about how golfers can understand how they can just think about how they do things at the moment and how they, so practice time at the moment for most golfers is precious. Practice time is precious. So utilizing that time the best way possible and focusing that time, those full swing, we're not talking about short game's different, but for full swing shots, anything with gap wedges, even sand wedges or lob wedges, if you include that in full swings, if you do full swing or lob wedge, I do, you need to be, you need to have that and work out what you need to work on, because if not, you're just wasting the time that you're practicing on something you're already good at, which is a bit daft, because practice time is precious. Right, so if I was to go to the next one, so effectively, by looking at that one there, you can see if you hit whatever distance that you hit, and you are that side of whatever line, you can say you can work 2 wild, work on direction, 2 straight, work on distance. I would look at it a different way. If you are above the blue line, saying 2 wild, work on direction, I would say your work on that iron is done. What you need to do is then go work on a different iron, see where you are on that line. And if you're on the wrong side of that line, the top part of that line, or the bottom side of the line, you need to, or the top side of the line, you need to actually work on that iron. You do. There's no point in working on something that you're already good at. So I did data set, and this is my pitching wedge. So you can see they carry 125 yards, and you can see my deviation. If you want to get your calculators out, I can do it. What we got there, 5.5 yards left is the worst one, and 4.6 yards right. So what's that, 10? We'll call that 10. Let's go back to me. We can do that. We can do it. Should we do that live? Let's do it on live. Live. So it's something as simple as you go on Chrome, and when you've got 1,700 tabs open, yeah, I haven't got that. So 100 and what did I say? 125 yards, yeah, and I was 5 yards left, 5 yards right, wasn't I? So 10 yards, but effectively 5 yards left, 5 yards right. That's 5. Yeah, so we're not at, that's 10 in gross, but rather either side of that line is 5, basically. That would mean I am 2.3 degrees. Remember, PJ Tour is 3 point something, 3 degrees. Let's call it 3 degrees. So on that data set, I am 2.3 degrees. Do not need to work on my pitching wedge whatsoever. My pitching wedge is fine. Yeah. Without boring the pants off of people. There we go. One I do need to work on is my fairway wood. Driver's not bad whatsoever, 5 iron's not bad whatsoever, 7 iron's not bad whatsoever. By doing this test, I figured out that my fairway wood isn't quite as good as it needs to be. Now, it's not bad at all, but it's not as good as it needs to be. So that's what I'm working on. But that is something very, very, very simple. An idea, a conceptual idea, how you can put the practice you're putting into when it comes to the drive range and stuff like that in a better way, where you can make sure that you're getting better quicker on the course and understanding where you're missing, where you should miss. It's not as a case of people think they should hit the target every single time. I have constant conversations with 18 handicappers, and I sort of say to them, look, we're 150 yards out. Are you expected to hit the green? Well, definitely. No. The whole idea is that you should get off the tee somewhere good enough that you can make a half decent go at the second shot, and your second shot should be getting as close to the green as you possibly can to guarantee getting it on your third. And that third, where even if you miss the green by 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards, or whatever it is, and you go get your putter out and putt it on the green, you're on the green in 3-2 putt, your actual par. That's easy golf. But people get themselves in trouble because they think they have to hit this booming tee shot off the tee, put themselves in trouble. I mean, then they hack out as hard as they possibly can do, sometimes not getting out, sometimes getting themselves in trouble, sometimes a miraculous shot, but don't get anywhere near the green. And then they're just constantly struggling. Now, if I could, the amount of times that I've sort of said to people, just do this, do that, do this, do that. And you're not expected to, keep your expectations low, think properly about the situation you're going through, blah, blah, blah. The difference is crazy. There you go. The difference is crazy. Right. What do you think about that then? As everyone's fallen asleep. Well, has he finished talking yet? Oh, yes, yeah. Right. Anyone? What was that? What was he saying? He started talking about this like display presentation on the screen. I just kind of fell asleep. Right. There we go. Right. So. Oh, let's go back over. There we go. Right. Anyone have a thought on that? No? Good. Everyone's learned exactly what they need to do. That's what I like. Or either that, I have literally, well, made everyone fall asleep. I was going to do a video on it, but then editing that is a nightmare. It was. Very interesting perspective. I will take this with me. A lot of people should just do a test and do it a few times. Understand what is your worst golf club by actually putting some statistical data on it, understanding exactly how offline you are, understanding that you can be more offline the longer you go. The longer you go, you've got distance related dispersion. Have Garmin data, and yes, I agree. Good, Don. Well done. You have, and that's good. And that's what you need to do. So when it comes to a pitching wedge, I would be, if I hit one 20 yards offline with a pitching wedge, I'll be a little bit peed off. When it comes to a driver, if I'm 20 yards offline with the driver, not at all. KL, I get it. I'm trying to avoid hero shots in 2023. Already fouled second round out. I like it. You had the all intention to do it, YouTube drink. Yep. Yeah, the better you get, you can do it. Seve, he was amazing at it, but he was an amazing golfer, and he spent a lot of time getting used to doing the shots that he did because, yeah, that's the kind of golfer he was. He was not a freak, I don't want to use the word freak, but he was an anomaly, an anomaly. There you go. Most people, if they tried to play the way Seve did and even Tiger did and stuff like that, they would just, again, failed from zero or from hero to zero in one shot. But yeah, and so if people were just to spend some time doing that, understanding what golf clubs they need to work on, not just keep on practicing the same ones, but doing it in a way that if you start monitoring data, if you start monitoring exactly what you're doing, you can then monitor progress rather than just basically guessing it. And when you're on the range, itchy snozzer, when you're on the range, you're not looking from 100 feet up, looking down at what your patterns of your shots are. You're looking down there, and you can't see very well dispersion, and you definitely can't see distance very well. Excuse me, YouTube burp. Ian, managing your expectations is so huge. My playing partner misses a 20-foot putt and moans like mad. He's up 18. I miss it. I miss it. I'm concentrating on the tapping. I'm off 4. That's funny. Yeah. Been there, so I know exactly what you mean. Alex, would you mind sharing the URL or search terms for that distance info? Apologies if you've already mentioned it. Alex, I will. Can I, hang on, bear with. I'm doing this in the background. So if I do that, copy. There we go. See, this is where we. This is kind of getting a little bit crazy now. Can I put it in the description? Can I put it in the description? If I can put it in the description, it all may go horribly wrong. Right. I've hopefully I've put it in the description. Hopefully. If it all goes terribly and horribly wrong, I'll need people to make sure that they message now, put something in the chat, because I've gone and tried to stick or copied the URL. There we go, it has come up. Tech has not, yeah, failed. Wow. Right. It worked, good, Alex. There you go. So I've put the link to the article in the description so you can have a look should you want to. I'll possibly kill this live stream. I won't post it to YouTube. I may or may not, I don't know. I've got another 8 minutes of rubbish at the start because I couldn't, understand it was not, Oh well. Would you mind sharing your, I've done that. I think my worst club is my 5 wood. How bad is it? That's the question. How far does it go? How far offline is it? And then how does that work when it comes to the standard deviation, or your deviation angle, relevant to your handicap? There you go. Because what you'll find is you're going to be better at certain golf clubs. You're going to be, let's say everyone's a 20 handicap. Let's just put a 20 handicap out there. But what you'll find is that the 20 handicap are going to have a pitching wedge of a 10 handicap, a driver of a 38 handicap, a this, that, and they all move around. So rather than keep on working on your pitching wedge because you don't need to, you should be working on other things that Now, of course, if you're a 20 handicap, you've got a driver of a 38 handicap, you know that's 18 shots different and you're going to notice it. What we're talking about is the differences between having a bit more of a boring through the whole bag set of performance rather than having these peaks and troughs that you get when it comes to having differences with your 6-iron, differences with your 7-iron, 5-iron, 8-irons and stuff like that, which is going to make you much more consistent. If you don't know where you're missing, how do you know where to aim, for one? And how do you know also when it comes to judging distance if your misses is beyond a certain amount? Lee, have you find some sort of scoring system for forgiveness of club? It would be interesting results at the end of the year, such as the best forgiveness irons, hybrids, and etc. ranking, perhaps. Without, Lee, I've thought about doing that myself, but because, and this is the reason why I don't do it. One, it's not fair on manufacturers because I don't review every single manufacturer. Why? I'll be honest. When it comes to products like this, there you go. My channel is fairly focused in what I want to do, so I already understand that I'm not potentially in the future, I don't know, because I've only just really started going YouTube more full time very recently. Subscribers are increasing, viewerships are increasing, the word is getting out there a lot more, and people are becoming a much more within the Ask Golf Nut community, etc. But I haven't got a media partnership with every single manufacturer. So when it comes to the reviews that I do, it's because that's what I can get hold of when it comes to the manufacturers, whether it be a media partnership or samples and stuff like that, so I can do like a proper test. I wouldn't feel, in me being honest and moral and all that lot that I am, I wouldn't feel it's right for me to put in a best irons of 2023 on the basis that I haven't tested all of them. And I might be doing another manufacturer an injustice if I haven't tested them and they are actually out of this world. Now, of course, we are talking about physics, so yeah. Are they going to be out of this world? Probably not. But performance of a golf club is only a certain one thing, like as in ball speed, efficiency. Ball speed or efficiency retention is by far more very, very important when it comes to that. That's forgiveness. That's why I do the forgiveness test and such. But then what it looks like, how it feels as such, impact, acoustics, and all the different things that go with buying a golf club, not just how well does it hit out the middle, and when I hit it 18 mil toe, 4 mil low, how well does it perform? Obviously it's important, but it's not. Niels, I've just noticed that. For the after work beer fund. Yeah, I'm pretty certain I'm not allowed to show it. Right, there you go. I'm not allowed to show it, but it's of that variety. Now, my wife calls it girly drinks, Alco Pops or whatever. I like my, I have a rhymes with rolled meckled Ben for the UK people. I have that. I only have like one. But there you go. You should drink. Thank you very much, Niels. I really appreciate that. That's very, very, very kind of you. For the after work beer fun. That is funny. After work, the problem is with me doing what I do here, I have no real set times. I spend so much time doing what I do. I have a very, very understanding wife. I couldn't ask for a better wife. I'll be honest. She's very, very understanding, very supportive, and yeah, you have to be when you're doing this, definitely. Bayou Bengal, J, Mizuno Z230 hybrid versus Ping G430 hybrid. Very, very good point. Very, very good. I love that G430 hybrid. Better than the G425 hybrid, I thought, just on acoustics and everything else because of that carbon wrap, and it does sound, feel really nice. It really does. The STZ230 hybrid is different to the CLK. There's a different shape to it, a different top to it. It's taken a little while for me to get used to the glossy top rather than the matte top of the CLK. However, the 230 hybrid has something which is so much better than the CLK. That's because the CLK have that wave technology at the bottom, which worked great, but because it had such an aggressive, like you had the face, and as the sole goes underneath, there was like this big ripple underneath, and the whole idea of the whole face was going to be doing this when you hit low on the face and all that. But the sole used to grip onto the ground, and it used to be frustrating us when you. Because I'm a dragger, I'm not a hoverer. I drag the golf club back and it used to get caught in the turf and it used to drive me mental. So the ST230 hybrid on that basis is just brilliant because it hasn't got it. But it's got the Cortex chamber, so it feels much so very similar to the driver, and that's one thing that the STZ range has got, whether it be the fairway, the hybrid or the driver, is much more of a unified feel. There's not huge differences now between everything. They've all got the same technology. They all made them work in a similar way. And so for pure, like if you're going to have a manufacturer have the woods, well, as in everything, not just have like a Ping driver or a tailor-made 3 wood and stuff like that, you can actually have a Mizuno all the way through in the woods because of that unified technology. Don, dispersing on the course is too much. More left hook, sometimes right. Okay, so that's path driven, and then obviously face relationships to that. So path from the inside, over closed hook, path from the inside, face square to path, and there's your push. Dispersion is, I think, like 20 yards left and 10 yards right at 200 yards. So that's 30. So that's 30, but that's 15. So if you imagine that, so that's 5 yards off of middle. So if you were just to aim 5 yards to the right, that would be 15 yards left and 15 yards right, but you kind of get the idea. So that's 15 at 200. So let's do this one very, very quick. So that's 15 at 200. What handicap are you? Did you tell me before? I can't remember, Don. That's a 5 wood. You are 4.3 degrees, say 4.5 degrees, you'll be fine. That's just an aim point. I'd aim you 5 yards to the right. So you're 15, 15, you're fine. I can't remember what it was. Let's go have a quick look on here. I'll do it on here so you don't have to worry about it. What was that, 4 degrees? 4 and a bit degrees at 200 yards? 14 yards, yeah, I mean, that's 14 yards, that's fine. So let's go back to, press the wrong buttons. No, I'm not, there you go. Right, there you go. So, what handicap are you, Don? 12, okay, so you're 12 handicap, 72, 82, which is a stupid thing that's driving me insane. There you go, I'm doing this so you don't have to see it. It's just flicking around with it. So, 82, 84, you're on there, yeah, you're standard. You'll be on the, I reckon you're very, very close to, say, 6 degrees dispersion. Yeah, so you're well within it. I would say for you, because you're closer down to 84 than you are like that, I'd say if you were around sort of between, if you would think you're 5.5 to 6 degrees dispersion, you're inside that, it's fine. You're doing all right. You're being too hard on yourself, sir. Richard Bigger, okay, if all your might is 100%, how hard do you normally swing, say 7-iron fairway shot into green? Okay, so for if my 100% swing, full out, you know, spin around afterwards, pirouette like a junior does, they're funny when they do that. How hard do I hit a golf ball normally? About 85%, 90%. I'm committed to it. I'm definitely committed to it. I'm not tickling it, but I'm round about 85, 90%. That's why I move between sort of 90 miles an hour to 93, depending on how bendy I feel, how warm I feel. I'm getting old. I'm like, I feel 93, not 43. But because I hit so many, I mean, my arms ache, and I do. I mean, I probably hit too many too quickly, and one after the other, bang, 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 bang. So I very quickly use up all the energy in my low and my small muscles. Big muscles are fine, but then that's replicated in actually how people fatigue when they play golf. It's not their big muscles which fatigue first, it's them parts. That's why, generally speaking, when it comes to when you first start playing golf, you've got overactive hands because the body hasn't warmed up, but these warm up, the fast twitch fibers warm up fairly quick. Obviously they react, they're used to being worked really quickly. And then when it comes to sort of a certain part of the round, sort of say 6 holes, 7 holes or whatever it be, everything's working in unison. So you've got the big muscles warmed up, they're swinging and stretchy and bendy and doing all their things. These things haven't got tired yet. Come the 14th, 15th hole, big muscles, bigger store of energy, they're absolutely fine. These things are knackered. So that's why it all goes, yeah. But that's just, yeah, I understand that you can actually make adjustments for it, but there you go. But no, so you can see there, Don, you can look at how you do things. And okay, I'll be honest, when I'm looking at this kind of stuff, I see the information that you've got on here, and then what I basically do is then I take a little bit off. I'm uber picky about how I do things. So if anything, I'm looking at a 4% deviation and I say no, a 4-degree deviation, say no, I'm going to do a 3.5-degree deviation, and I will push myself, and then I'll work on all different things to make sure that, well, if that's 3 degrees, I don't have to work on that, but that's 4 degrees, I'm going to work on this one to bring it closer to 3.5 and stuff like that. And so you can keep every single one of your golf clubs under control, and you don't have one weak, bad golf club. You don't have a favorite golf club. People that turn around and say that they've got a golf club that they don't like in a bag of 5-iron, obviously is bad because they don't like it, don't have a good relationship where they struggle with it. Equally, the people that turn around and say that my favorite iron's my 8-iron or whatever it is, that's equally as bad, because you shouldn't have a favorite. They're tools. They're there to do a job, and you should not have a favorite. You don't have a relationship with your golf clubs. Yeah, these are tools. They're designed to do a certain job. I need to clean that one, really, don't I? There we go. These are tools. They're designed to do a certain job. And as soon as you have a relationship with it, you have an expectation. As soon as you have an expectation, yeah. So, how is your impact area floor insert project going? V2 is coming. I need to do V2. I can't really, yeah, another way around, really. That's right behind me. So, it works great. My own problem that I done is the fact that I put a hole through it to try and take a real tee, and the problem is that entered a weak point because of the hole, and of course the perspex, because it's a floating, it's a divot mat. So you've got open and closed cell foam. The closed cell foam is stiffer, so that goes around the perimeter to keep it shape, and then obviously in the middle areas you've got open cell foam, which is squashier, and then but it comes like memory foam, goes back up again. So when you hit the ground, it allows to move, but then comes back up. But that, you've got sandwich, you've got perspex, acrylic. What's the word, American word for perspex? Had it in Star Trek, didn't they? God, was it the Voyage Home, when they were trying to make the big old things for the whales? It'll come to me later. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's coming out. I need to make V2 very, very soon. I just need time to do it. Also suffering from fat shots with working on it. Right, Don, low point control. That is an important one. One of the most important things when it comes to golf is understanding where your low point is, where your hula hoop. I always call it a hula hoop because obviously it's a round thing and guys that are old enough remember used to hula hoop around with their waist, yeah, kind of idea. But you can, your hula hoop depicts like low point of where the golf club is going to be, and then you can sway your body left and right. That's sway that people talk about. That will affect the hula hoop, or where that golf club's going to hit. And also you can move the hula hoop up and down depending on, obviously, if you physically move up or down, or how you use your wrist angles and make the golf club longer and shorter depending on what you do. Yeah, that is the time. And is it really? Wowzers. And yeah, that can change your effective hula hoop. So there's many different ways that you can cause fat shots. It is, shall we say, common. But work on your strike. You can thin it, you can never fat it, you can toe it, you can never heel it. I have said that many, many times. If I had £1 for every single time I'd said that, thanks Alex, plexiglass. Whoa, I could see it was in the top of my, yeah, anyway. Yeah. So how I worked that out when it comes to Star Trek 3, The Voyage Home, was it? 2, The Wrath of Khan, 3, The Search for Spock, 4, The Voyage Home. There you go. James Grellin, is a fitting really all that? Is there really much difference to picking up clubs off the shelf? Oh yes. Yes, 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 yes. Right, so, ooh, nearly knocked over my YouTube drink. Something simple as when these clubs get custom fit. Shaft for one, yeah? I am not generally, absolutely at all bothered by shaft. Why? Because of the way I transition. And I will do a video. It's basically how I transition. I don't load the shaft in any kind of directional way this way on the transition. I pull down the axis of the shaft. So if anything, I try to fend the shaft in an elongation way. So because I'm not bending or offending the shaft in any kind of sort of kick angle or toe deflection, I then don't have the problem about being very susceptible for differences within bend profile. High 90 some odd golfers. I mean, when I God, last year, I could name, well, I could probably count them on that many digits. 5, probably not even that, of people that were shaft non-sensitive. Every single other person, every single other golfer, because how they transition, how they load the shaft, has a specific required bend profile. That's why manufacturers make so many shafts. It's really expensive to make shafts of different profiles. It's really expensive to make different products and stuff like that. It'd be far better for a company to make a Uniflex shaft. Remember those? It would be so much better if they do that. Why? Because it'd be cheaper and they can make more money because they still sell the same amount of golf clubs, because every single golf club that's sold needs a shaft in it. But because of that very fact, I need to check my battery levels. All right, battery levels fine. Of the microphone, but because of that, you have to. Yeah, I need to get a little bit closer. I'll keep going further back. But because of that, everyone fits into a bend profile. So shaft, absolutely, Jamie. Shaft is one thing. Dynamic lie, how the golf club sits, like that. Yeah. If the golf club's toe down, which happens a lot. Cool, you see there some of the shots. There you go. If guys later on, on the review of the 223 versus Forge, which is coming soon in the next day or so, I think, can you see that as a toe strike? You don't need HMT dots to see that. But dynamic lie, how that, because one, when you have dynamic lie issues, that points the loft in different directions. So as a general rule, if you had a 0-0 delivery, 0 path, 0 face, and you've got toe up, you'd go left for a right-handed golfer, and then that way. But if we're talking about toe down and it's going to go in, the loft is pointing right. So you're trying to deliver straight, but the loft is pointing right, that ball's going to go right. That's before we even talk about any kind of twist that's happening, because the golf club's coming in at a not ideal angle, so the toe is going to be grazing the ground and wanting to twist open. And if it doesn't twist open, you're playing a really soft golf course, that's pulling matter up the face. When I say matter, of course, that's dirt and soil and grass and stuff like that, which is then causing a fat contact. And it wouldn't be, it's just because of the toe. There's so many reasons why people should get custom fit. That's just 2, but it can make a massive difference. There you go, Jamie. Don, it's a bit to do. how my knee flexes and takeaway. It's a bit to do with how my, I found that if I flex it a bit to the right, it will result in a fat shot. How my knee flexes, left knee are we talking? We're talking left knee flex to the right, result in a fat shot. If I got my knee straight forward, then it's okay. Are we talking left knee? So as the knee flexes, out on the way back, as the hips rotate, if you move your left knee for a right-handed golfer towards your right knee, you move your center of mass, which then effectively gives a sway. If you do that, then you have to then recenter your knee before you can transition weight. Your downswing goes through down a damn sight faster than your backswing did, and you haven't got the time and you will hit the ground early. So if that's the left knee that we are talking about. Niels has popped in for Jamie. I got fit and ended up with shafts that was very different from what I thought, and it has transformed my swinging distances. Yep, there you go. And that's just shaft. That's not talking about lie angles and all different types of things. Centre of gravity of heads is a massive thing as well. JJ, love the name. There you go. Favourite name so far, JJ. Not biased in the slightest. That's only one thing I am biased on, but yeah, JJ, great name. Is working for the manufacturers. JJ is working for the manufacturers in a sales rep stroke fitter capacity worth it. He's working for the manufacturers in a sales rep stroke fitter capacity. So ASMs, area sales managers. I want to change careers, but I'm not sure the jump would be secure enough. Right, okay, generally speaking, no. At the moment, ASM jobs are fairly secure. Why? Because the golf industry is still doing okay. How it's going to go over the next few years because of the global financial situation, I'm not certain. I know quite a few reps, call them reps, I call them ASMs, area sales managers, because they're not reps really anymore, but they kind of are, but you know what I mean, they're not. It's a stressful job. It is a difficult job. You've got to love the brand you're going to work for. You can put down there if you want to tell me who it is. Doesn't matter. Obviously, no one knows who JJ is. You can be honest if you want. I can be honest. Everyone knows who I am. That's the problem. If I say something, yeah, they know who it come for. But it's honest. So it's secure enough. Yes, it is, and it can be quite profitable when it comes to the right company. It is stressful. There's a lot of information every single time they release something. The ASMs have got to know it inside out, absolutely inside out. As a fitter capacity, that's different, because as a fitter, you really need to, good fitters, they need to live it. They need to absorb as much information as they can do about the equipment itself, bend profiles of shafts and everything, all the physics side around fitting, not just the selling of it. And so that's a very busy job. I mean, when I was fitting full time, it was, yeah, trying to keep up to date with everything, understand exactly how things are and stuff like that. It's a lot of evenings on Google, searching this, searching that, looking at this, looking at that. So yeah, left knee, Don, yes, that's the cause. Left knee needs to go over the shoelaces, doesn't need to buckle towards the right knee. If your knee bends forward, not sideways, I can't really do it. I can do it, I will do it. I'll flick over very quickly. You will lose the audio, but bear with, and I'll show you what I mean. Look at all the rubbish that I've got. Back again, there you go. So I hope everyone got that in quiet format. Basically I was saying, because I need to move the microphone to the computer rather than, anyway, it doesn't matter. As you turn, the left knee, if that buckles towards the right, you move your mass, not generally speaking very good, very, very difficult to control low point, has a distinct tendency to hit the ground first. If you move your knee towards your shoelaces, as in it pops forward, that still allows the hips to rotate and keeps your center of mass over the golf ball. You can then, thanks Jay for the demo. Checks in the post. No problem. Golfers, can you have your wife on some day so we can see who puts up with you? I think she would come on at the moment because she just had her hair done. She loves the hair. And to be fair, she's got it all curly and blonde, and well, she always had a blonde anyway, but it's all curly and she likes it. It is quite nice, I'll be honest. I quite like long blonde hair. When you're follically challenged, you look back in the days when you had hair and you just look at other people with hair and go, yeah. Right, so we've got Chris, torn between Gene 430 and TSR2. Have had a partial fitting for both and got good results. Misses toe side and a little low. Any thoughts on swing speed in the mid-90s and 60 years old? So swing speed in the mid-90s, you're going to need a half decent amount of launch, and obviously in your 60s you need to be thinking about, as time goes on, because I like to think about within reason, let's say at least a 5-year fit with a driver. I mean, people get like itchy fingers and they want to go and try something different. But driver technology moves on, it does, but let's face it, golf clubs are expensive, so if you can make a driver last 5 years, 10 years, but 5 years at least, having a thought in your head, if you are a senior-ish golfer and you're only going to go one way, slower, you need absolute amount of versatility with that head. So if you were going to go for a G430, let's say, and you are needing, let's say, a just a 10.5 degree head, yeah, I would much rather go to a 12 degree and de-loft it down to 10.5, because you then, as you get older and get slower, you're going to need to increase a loft. If you go to a 10.5, which is fine, that's no problem, you can only ever go to a 12, and then you're needing a new head. If you go to a 12, you can go down to 10.5, and that means now you've got range up to 13.5 degrees in the future. You could keep that head forever, really. But so it's having versatility in the decision making when it comes to lofts, and that's just one consideration. But yeah. Niels, you can start a new channel. 5-second visual instructions. 5-second visual instructions that no one can hear. The trick is to comment below what I'm talking about. If you've understood it, there you go. Don, oh, thank you. I've just noticed that you've just donated €2.49. Is that? It's gone a little bit funny on the thingy. I'll just pop on a different screen. Oh, you did. Thank you. I just noticed that. Was that for my 5-second instruction of how to use the knee? Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I do. That's very, very kind of you. JJ, I went to school at Mitchell Golf Fitting and Repair. I'd love to work for Callaway, but 20 years in one career didn't pad my career golf-wise. I know what I'm doing, but don't know how to break in. It's got golf careers is difficult. It's one of those ones that if you're in it already, it's quite easy to stay within it, as long as you're willing to diversify, understand what you may need to do and stuff like that. And when it comes to what I'm doing now, just on me, let's face it, I've done YouTube for quite some time. The channel's been active for like nearly 6 years come August this year, but I haven't been active hardly at all. I think I've only just gone over 200 uploads, and most of those actually have been fairly recently. So I've always only dipped my toes in YouTube. So to understand sort of going YouTube more full time now, there's always going to be a point of where if you're relying on YouTube earnings to make a living, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always a situation of there's a delayed reaction when it comes to that. So you have to plan in your business model for doing such as things. The difficult times are these, when you get to the likes of Rick Shields that have more than broke through. He's earning millions, so when you get to that point, that's great. But my problem is that how I do it is because I will never earn millions from YouTube, because how I do things. I am too honest, I am too upfront, and I don't conform to what people would like me to conform to. And so that potentially has an impact on my viewership, definitely. Manufacturers will not promote potentially my content like they have done other people's stuff on the basis of what I'm saying, because I'm too honest. Yep. Bayou Bengal, Jay, any new Mizuno putter model coming in 2023? I don't think there is. I think they're going to be Omoy. I mean, if anything, they might change the 456, I think it is, but I really haven't done the Omoys. I did the M Crafts, but I might see if I can get my hands on the Omoys because I do like a heavy putter anyway. So yeah, game on. Do the S23 edges feel different than the T22s? I demoed the T22 and loved the softness. They feel exactly the same. There's no difference when it comes to physical feel, depending on what we're talking about, center of strike. If you are hitting a T22, say 7mm heel or so, where the effective middle within reason is 7-8mm or whatever it be, then they'll feel beautiful. If you hit a T23 and your center strike is middle, because that's where you want to hit it and that's where you do, it will feel beautiful. If you go get a T22 wedge and hit it 10mm toe, it won't feel great. It will feel a bit clunky. If you hit a S23 and hit it 10mm toe, it will feel not bad whatsoever because you're closer to the effective middle, the sweet spot. All depends on the individual themselves. Don, I understood. Cool. I will let you know how I got on with the testing fitting for my new irons 221, 223, 225 or Strix, and maybe my fitter will surprise me with something else. Mira, yeah. Don, I wouldn't hold your breath. Unfortunately, when it comes, well, it depends what the margins are, but a lot of people, fitters and coaches and any professional, which, yeah, they're governed a lot by commission and profit margins, and certain brands have better margins than others. That's why they generate sales in the way they do, which is wrong. Another reason why things are wrong. Jamie, thanks. I've asked about fitting as I am after new irons. I was fitted some 5 years ago and was thinking of using similar shaft weights, flex, light, etc. in purchasing 2021-22 irons. Yeah, 5 years ago is a long time, and especially depending on how you've changed as a golfer, if you change speed, if you change transition, if you've changed how I hate the word plane, if you change the plane of your swing, it can make a difference in how you load it depending on how you pull and transition and all these different things. How you have your hands delivered high or lower when it comes to dynamic lie, what the shaft deflection, what droop you get. That's the only thing, if anything, that I'm susceptible for when it comes to how shafts are affected for me. I'm not worried about the bend profile of a shaft. I don't really care on that one, but if anything that will affect me slightly is I'll get shaft droop, and that's because I'm flatter. I'm just more rounded, and so the more rounded you go, the more the center of gravity of the head, where's my hands, there they are, of the head, and that lot try to bend down. So yeah, if you were more upright this way, get my hands close so you can see, there's less bend. But the more you go, there you go, this way, this is so difficult, it's back to front, you get more droop. So that's the only reason I find it a little bit susceptible to that, but apart from that, it's fine. JJ, your honesty is why I watch your channel. Yep, thank you very much. I don't feel like wading through sponsored videos. I'd rather watch an honest opinion from a knowledgeable person. Thank you very much, JJ, I appreciate that, and great name. Jamie, simply to save on costs. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, if you can get, if you know what specs you need and you can get them cheaper, by all means do so. I mean, I'm a great fan of getting stuff as cheap as you possibly can do. The problem you've got is obviously with brand new equipment is you can get them spec to exactly what you need. It's very, very difficult sometimes to get second-hand equipment or nearly new equipment in the exact specs that you need, because you can end up buying something which you think is fairly close but actually not working very close or very well at all, and it can actually make your game worse. So you've just spent a load of money, even though it's not full amount of money, but you spent a load of money and it's actually not done any good, or it hasn't done anything better than what you had before. So yeah. Don, I got 222 after review, love them in copper. I've got one over there, the denim, they're lovely. Just the look of them, yeah. I am actually, so you can't see because it's not a part of, oh, you can kind of see. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll flick you over here. See this picture here? There you go. The top right one, ready? One with the, I've got a studio light there, which I don't really use anymore, really. I only use this one here. And then I've got my bags and stuff, and I've just been, obviously I've been doing stuff today, so it's a bit of a mess. Should have retied it up first, shouldn't I? But that's what it is. I'm going to think about putting a display case, because I've got some, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to blades, and I've got some shiny blades that I want to display in there. And I've also got a box of the copper-headed Mizunos. Remember those ones? Limited ed? They were just lovely. So anyway, I've been very, very fortunate to get some of those, and so they will look, yeah, looking forward to them coming. Gold, silver. Hello, Mike. See my question above, you missed. Sorry. Also, how did Ask Golf Nut name come about? Was there a connection with Crossfield? Wait, so did I miss yours? I am sorry, hang on. So let's go see if I can do a different one here. I don't want to, I do, yeah, I'm trying to see if I've actually missed it. I have. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did. Sorry, Mike, is there much difference between stock shafts that come with Ping G430, etc. and Ventus? I think your channel is one of the best. Your delivery, your data delivery and honesty are a rare combo. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate that. I do apologise. I've John Walsh. Hello, John. I need to get back to you. I am so sorry that I haven't got back to you. Have I got back to you? Who is it? I can't remember now. I've got so much to do. And that's the thing. I'm so busy, and I apologise for anyone who's still waiting on me to get back to them, because is my 12-year-old daughter too young for a fitting? John asked earlier on. No. Recently, what was it? Ping do great when it comes to the Prodigy G stuff. The reason why they're so good is obviously you get a good fit in with the Prodigy G stuff, and they also get a free refit. So when they grow and they need bigger shafts and sometimes stiffer shafts, changing light, it's a free refit. Ping do really good for that. So, Mike, sorry, yeah, completely. So about the when it comes to stock shafts, when it comes to a Ping G430, the less counterbalance that they used to be, you can now intermingle with different, if you've got particular shafts that you really liked, you can now put it in a G430 because it's not quite so heavy. So that means now normal shafts are open to the market to whack in a G430 head. So you can, yeah, you can do what you want now. Beforehand, unless it was a severely counterbalanced shaft, I would have gone really, that's a bit brave, especially with a G430. G425 say head, but G430 being slightly less, now you can get away with it. Right, so let's go back to, I do apologise about missing, oh no, it's all gone crazy, so I'm going to have to go back up to the screen because, oh, I say, how did the name come about? Also, how did Ask Golf, yeah, right, so, was it a connect? Yes, I'll be honest, absolutely it was, right? When I first started YouTube, my motivation for doing it came from Mark. I saw Mark and his Ask Golf Guru, and I loved Mark's stuff when I was watching. I was an active YouTube watcher rather than content creator and stuff like that. And he does some brilliant stuff. There was one there that I still remember, and it was hilarious, where he lost his in a bunker because he hit a wedge shot and it spun off the front of the green, and he went, and it was funny. And he's done I think it was with Buzzer and James there, and Lockie was on there as well, and it was just funny. So he's done some amazing stuff. And yeah, when back in the day, before I started YouTube, Ask Golf Guru, everyone used to call me a golf nut anyway because of how I was, and so I thought, well, Ask Golf Nut. No copyright infringement on it or anything else like that, and it's true. They used to call me a golf nut and ask me, because I'll be honest and I'll give you yeah, exact. That's the reason why. Or what does the missus hate? The wife hates because she's a teacher. Hence the reason why. Can't say that. Can't say hence the reason why. Right. Let's go have a look, make sure I got everyone. Simply say one cost, speaking to Mizuno, right, yeah, JJ, speaking of Mizuno, I love my JPX 900 tours. yes. They seem to have an unbiased CG, but the 923s look fade biased. Is that accurate, or just appearance regarding that? Just appearance. There is no fade bias, honestly, between them. They're, possibly the 923 Tours are possibly one of the best well-made Tour models. The 900s were great, and if the 900s, you could sort of take that finish off and put a copper underlay on and then put that on, I would say they're just as good. But that copper underlay of the 923 Tour, that is really, really very, very nice. K31966J, I really like your channel. Hello. Quick question, is there a large difference between the Mizuno 919 forged and 923 forged? Got itching YouTube nose. No, being honest. The 921 and 923, there's not a lot. 919 against 921, there was a little bit. So there is a small difference between 919 and 923 forged. Is there enough tangible difference to justify you spending money on a new set? That's something that you'll have to test. I would always suggest testing anything you've got against something which is new, which you've got the interest in, before you go and buy it, because you can get them custom fitting anyway. I mean, again, we're talking about the difference between where the old custom fit used to be. How far am I behind on this? Or am I just looking at the wrong thing? I don't know, I'm looking at the wrong screen. But yeah, when it comes to being fitted, if your old ones weren't that good when it comes to fitting, then of course you could get a new fitting and unleash loads more distance. I'm gonna have to go over here again, because I've just gone back so far that I'm getting a little bit, right, where am I? Oh, I'm getting close now. Don, so do you think I should go for a Mizuno restriction and don't go for the mirrors because they have a larger margin? I don't know what they have margin-wise, I'll be honest, Don. I'm not quite sure what the margins are when it comes to Mizuno's restrictions and mirrors. I know the Mizuno margins, they're okay, they're medium. I wouldn't say they're really good, I wouldn't say they're really bad, but there would be no motivation one way or the other when it comes to a Mizuno sale through margin alone. When it comes to restriction, well, they always used to be known as the poor man's Mizuno, and it's a bit of unfair, but to a certain extent they won't, because they're better margins than restriction, so cheaper trade to retail. So there might be a little bit of motivation to push people into restriction because of the cheaper trade to retail, but again, that's dishonest side of things, which I don't like. Don, I have got the denim copper with the black shafts. That's an interesting combo. Jess Collinson, I'm trying to pull the trigger on a new set of irons and your reviews are brilliant. I'm looking at I230, 223, 225, ZX75 and new Cobra Kings. Your thoughts? Wow, they're all blooming good. Cobra King Tours, and I haven't tried the new ZX. I need to try the new ZX. I want to get a hold of them if I can do, because their spin profiles always used to be a touch low. But I230, 223, 225, all very, very good. And then if the new stuff is better than the old stuff, then absolutely go with that. Get tested. Go somewhere honest to get tested, definitely. Mark, quick question on lie angle, as I understand. The different manufacturers have different standard lie angles, same as Mizuno and Cobra. Does this mean 2 degrees upright would also be different by manufacturer? Yes, it would be. So everyone should release their standard, whatever their standard version of their lie is. If that's what their lie is, that's what they, there you go, flick it over here. Well, I'm just trying to work out at what point I'm, because I've looked at my screen over here and I don't know where, oh, hang on a minute. There you go, that's the reason why. I just looked at the fact that I'd moved the scroll bar across and I'm watching myself about 20 minutes ago. Everyone will have on there, all manufacturers on the website will have their specifications of what their standard lie is, and of course then you move yourself on there. So rather than going I'm 2 degrees upright or whatever it be, if you go I am 62.5 degrees with a 7 up, then you can then translate that to any other manufacturer moving around. Obviously that's then shaft specific, because not all shaft or not all head manufacturers operate the use of stock options or even upgrade options on shafts. So you could fit into a certain shaft on one, not have that option on another one, and have to go into something else, which has a different bend profile, which will then, because of droop differences, create a different lie angle requirement. So yeah, it gets a little bit complicated. That's before you talk about head weights and how that will change. Yeah. Frugal Fixer Golf and how you doing? I hope you're well. Jess, I have found the new 93 Forge to be too much on. Sorry, I found the new 93 Forge too much on distance consistency. I found the new 93 Forge too much on distance consistency. You're gonna have to explain that a bit better. I'm not reading it correctly, possibly, or missed out certain bits out, and I'm not quite getting it. Oh, just going great story, thanks. No worries, right, Mike, that's great. Jess, have you tried the DTC tuck? Oh, no, getting some great reviews there. Love to see what you think. No, I haven't really, because a lot of the DTC brands aren't overly happy with sending out media samples, and being honest, when it comes to stuff that I have to test, if I haven't got a media partnership with someone, the only way that I can obviously review something is if I physically purchase it. If I physically purchase it, then being honest, because this is a I've been doing YouTube again, I've been doing YouTube for like 6 years nearly, but I haven't been doing YouTube properly up until the last 4 and months, not years, 4 months. And so the channel is growing and the channel is doing well and stuff like that, but I do have to balance, being honest, I have to balance the understanding that if I buy something to review it, I've either got to be able to sell that golf club back again, and that's if I don't want to do any compares with it in the future. I've got to sell it to make sure that I recoup the money for it, because obviously the video will make certain amounts of money and stuff like that it will do to justify doing YouTube. There's no point if I'm buying a golf club and it's just going to make or cost me the same money. Like a Ping i525 is something like £167 retail. So if I'm going to spend, even if I was to get that Trade Plus fat, the video's still going to have to make £120 to break even. So when it comes to doing what I do, I try my best I can do to make sure that I get media samples, because if not, it becomes difficult to justify doing a review based on the physical financial side of things. That's just being absolutely honest. Okay, thanks so much, no problem. Lewis Williams, Vice still a decent ball? Yes, Vice is still a decent ball. I disagreed with, right at the very start when Vice started, within reason, I was a huge advocate of what they were doing, because they were making as close to a Pro V1 as they possibly could do, and they were very, very close, to be fair, but really cheap. And of course, everyone else then, Kirkland done it, and all these other brands done it as well, Snell and all that. And then, of course, price goes up, and yeah, and they're still cheaper and stuff like that, but it's the classic thing where I'm not saying this is what the case if it was greed or anything else. I'm not accusing anything or anything else like that, but for me, it got to a point of where I didn't see that it's not like at the moment where inflation is as high as it is and everything's starting to cost more. This was the days where it wasn't costing any more, but prices were going up. Now, whether it's because like places like their marketing budget was going up and stuff like that, or their internal manufacturing processes were costing more money, I don't know, but it just went up. And I didn't agree with the stealth movement in cost. JJ, favourite golf shoe? Have spikeless improved much in wet conditions? Have spikeless improved much in wet? So when it comes to shoes, I'm a shoe freak. I love shoes. I've got to be honest, I do. When it comes to playing, I will, in the winter time when I need stability, I will have spiked, definitely. In the summertime, spikeless. There are great manufacturers out there. Obviously, Mizuno do make loads of shoes. So, okay, let's do it. Echo, brilliant. FootJoy, I'm a tall, classic kind of guy. I like that. It's a very stable shoe, and yeah, but there's some very, very good manufacturers of golf. Get fit for your shoes. Don't just buy them because you're a size 10. They all come in different shapes and sizes, or widths, and different profiles and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to be using these for 4 hours if you're lucky, sometimes 5, 18 holes. So you're going to have to be comfortable. When it comes to checking it, Rob Magar's literally just If you haven't checked out Rob's channel, Rob McGar, he makes some interesting content sometimes. Nice guy. I'll read his just when I think I've finally decided I shouldn't, and I think because the watch only gives a certain amount of information on the screen. I'll look at it later. But yeah, the reason why I align myself with Mizuno when it comes to a specific brand, let's be absolutely honest with this, because I always am. I've always played Mizuno irons, always. Yeah. So ever since very I've Mizuno irons because I just like them. And when it comes to their blades and stuff like that, I just love the feeling. Nothing feels like a Mizuno. Well, to be fair, yeah, they're all soft and lovely and all that, blah, 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 yeah? When it comes to a brand, the only reason why I have chose Mizuno is because out of every single brand out there, Mizuno really are the only brand to do everything. Apparel, hats, shoes, ball, glove, clubs, bags, everything. They do everything. Now, if you think, well, Titleist do everything. Well, no, they don't. They do FootJoy for shoes and gloves and Vokey wedges, Scotty Cameron putters. Well, they're all Titleist, but they're not named Titleist. And then you've obviously got TaylorMade. Well, they're kind of Adidas as well, so they're not quite, you know what I mean. So, out of all the manufacturers, Mizuno are the ones that do everything, and it from a manufacturer's point of view, at ridiculous cost. To make, there's a reason why Ping don't make a golf ball, because it's just ridiculously expensive to make and justify doing, and they don't. So, but Mizuno choose to make everything, and that's what I do, because I like continuity. I'm a bit OCD and I like continuity, and I like to have, yeah. Oh, I didn't get that last one. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go up to the next one and then scroll through because I'm terrible at that. Don, can you blend 221 with 225? Yes. Or is it better to blend 223, 225? No, you can blend 221, 225. You can do it whenever you want. The good thing with 225 is they're effectively within reason, especially around in the 7-iron, one golf club stronger. So if I was to blend 225 and 221 for me, I would have two 7-irons. I would just regrip them differently and stuff like that. In fact, I've got them over there in my little bag back there that you can just see. I have got a 5, 6, 7, or it'd be 6 and 7 in the 225, and then 7, 8, 9 pitching wedge in 221. So you've got a blended set, which then you haven't got to mess around with bending them and changing offsets and changing bounce numbers and stuff like that. You can keep them like for like. Just make sure when it comes to doing the 225s that you make the shafts ½ inch longer, like they would be if they were your 221s 6, 5 and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all you have to make sure to do. On the Mizuno website, you can blend 221, you can, yeah, but they bend them. I don't agree with it. When you bend them when it comes to 221, 225, because of the way you're bending them, you potentially ruin the aesthetics. And as soon as you bend something in loft, you limit how much it can bend in lie as well. So when you do a 225, 221 by having two 7-irons, say, you then enable the head to be utilising its bending in one particular axis, which then you have more variability. You have more movement if you want to. Mark, fantastic explanation, thank you. No problem, Mark. I can't quite remember what I was explaining. I've explained a lot of things, so yeah. Golf Addict, are the stock shafts still good? I mean, to be fair, stock shafts are, the only difference will be Ping. Ping are the only manufacturer that really manufactures their own shafts. Absolutely, they do. Vast majority of their own sales are their own shafts. So most manufacturers are aftermarket shafts, and the aftermarket shafts being stock shafts, absolutely good. And even so, the Ping stuff that they've got, even their stock shafts they've got, is absolutely great. So there is no bad shafts anymore, unless it's really, really cheap. Jess, sorry, too much distance, dispersion, inconsistency, lol. Oh, Jess, I've just noticed down here. Thank you very much. Your reviews have helped me, Dole, in my choices. Anytime. That's why I do it. I do it to help people, and I do. I've got my own way of doing things, and I have it as my duty in life to make sure that if people can spend their money, they spend it wisely, not on just marketing. I was going to tell you, or fitters that have their own versions of what they think when they get commission-based stuff, which is, yeah. So Jess, $10. That's very kind of you. Really is. Thank you very, very much. You've got to think. Golf, like the Ventus TR5 Red. Is it a good shaft still? Yes, in the right hands. In the wrong hands, it'd be terrible. No different to every other shaft. So as long as it fits you, bend profile wise, it's a great shaft. Alex, might be a controversial opinion. Love them, go for it. But I still love my JPX 825 Pros. No, good golf club. Irons film performance. I haven't been particularly impressed with JPX lines since STEM. Had high hopes for 223. 825 Pros were good iron. Have the JPX lining got better? Yes, it has. It definitely has. The ball speed increases and forgiveness of different parts of the face over an 825 Pro. Yes. However, if you're hitting your 825 Pros well, and you know exactly how far you hit them and stuff like that, well, does it really need to travel 6 yards longer? Oh, exactly. So it's up to you. If you still really like your JPX 825 Pros, you get on with them well, you enjoy your golf with them, then, I mean, something's got to be really good to justify changing if you're enjoying it that much. So yeah, I have Adidas and Echo, but now have G4 and they're great. Yes, I mean, all good shoes, all very, very good manufacturers. There's not really any manufacturer of shoes now, obviously premium wise, that I would say don't go for, because they're good shoes. I mean, Nike ones in the past, they did break a lot. The soles used to come away a lot. They used to lose their waterproof nature in not long whatsoever, and so they were good, but they're a bit but that's old school. The new stuff is fine. But would the Mizuno JPX 94 Hot Metal Pro irons be a good upgrade to P790 first gen? Not really. They're both very, very similar. There's not that much difference in them, really. Obviously, you've got a little bit tweaky here and there, but it all comes down to how you get on with the 923 Hot Metal Pro against the P790 first gen. If you go test it, and it might well go ka-twing off there, and you go, wow, this is cheating. But again, so golf, I mean, the reviews I do are a snapshot for what I do. Now, I try and keep my delivery as 0-0 as I possibly can. Why? Because it's in between what other people are doing. Some are massively to the inside, some are massively across. So by keeping delivery as close as I can do, it gives the biggest range of people to try and, yeah, that's the whole idea of doing it. But test them, really would. Edwin Lambley. Hi Jay, any thoughts on PXG into the bull market? Well, that'd be an interesting one. That's a hard game to go into. Bull market, really is. And I'm just getting on as that, Jess. Thank you very much for that donation. That $10 donation, that really is a very, very, very kind of you. I really appreciate it. Golf Addict, can a person get along with the stock shafts, and are they still a good option? Yes. Just don't want to shell out $400, $600 Canadian for an extra shaft. No. Stop, people. Stop buying YouTube drink. It's really good. Hang on. No one saw that, did they? No one saw that. Got away with that. Right. No one should be paying extra for shaft. I'm putting that out there now. Every single fitting I have ever done, there's only been one person that has insisted on needing an aftermarket shaft. Because he wanted it. Not because he needed it, because he wanted it. And that was the only reason he could afford it, and he wanted it. And good luck to him, why not? But every single other fitting I have ever done, I have always found a shaft, stock shaft, that would match any aftermarket upgrade shaft. There is huge market out there for upcharging shafts. I'm not saying this is true for everybody. I'm not, because I haven't fit everybody. I'm not the only person that fits everybody in the world, so yes. However, I do worry about the fact that you've got a 500-pound head and then someone says, but yeah, you need another 400-pound shaft in it. Really? Does it make coffee as well? Right. Where are we going? Don, also I have the FootJoy 1825 specials. Wow, yeah, wow. Don Keats, thanks for the tip, no problem. Nicholas Golden, I hit 25 clubs last weekend. The only like 923 Ford better than my 2002 McGregor VIP cavity bead, yeah. Any suggestions on other irons to cross shop? Thoughts on blending 923 forged weak, getting fitted TMs? If you can just get fit, well, test as many as you can. The problem is, a lot of the times, Don just popped out, it's 1857s. Unfortunately, a lot of the time is because you go to somewhere and they've only got, what they've bought in when it comes to, we've got an agreement, we've got an account with this one, and that's what you get. When there's so many options out there. Now, the interesting thing is, all manufacturers now are so ridiculously close when it comes to their performance out the middle. It's how they perform away from middle, which is far the most important thing. And that is very much so depending on the individual. That's why I do effectively the head measuring that I do. Why? Because it tells people how a golf club reacts out of different parts of the face, and if they then know their delivery dynamics and how they hit the golf balls and miss, they can then glean some information about how potentially a certain golf club is going to work for them or not. I can't say down the lens that a certain golf club is definitely going to be better for someone without knowing exactly how they hit it, but test as many as you possibly can at somewhere where you trust, and then make your decision based on how much tangible benefit there is over your current set against the cost that it will be. Golf Addict, thank you very much for answering the stock shaft questions, helped me out a lot, cheers. No problem, Golf Addict, absolutely no problem. Mediocre golfer, still playing Mizuno MX23 irons, good on ya. What would be the nearest modern day equivalent? Modern day? Whew, not quite sure there is modern day, is it, for an MX23? No, MX23 is a good iron. Well, you've got to be in hot metal, really, isn't you? That's the thing, as in the hot metals JPX series. If we're going Mizuno, I mean, we could be here all day if we're going to go for other manufacturers, but I'll give the Hot Metal Pro a go. Put that up against your MX23s. Obviously there'll be a loft difference there, so when it comes to a custom fitting you have to have that in your head, because loft will make the golf ball go further anyway. So if you go get a golf club and you just crank the loft, it will go further anyway. Deflection will make that golf ball travel faster. It will launch lower and travel faster, lower spin rate and ball speed increase. You'll get a higher efficiency from it anyway. Now the difference comes is this: if you can make a golf club stronger lofted, okay, but it goes the same height or goes higher than it did before with as much speed and spin, so it goes longer and descends steeper than it did, well, that's free distance and that's a win. Yeah, any golf manufacturer, that's why I don't necessarily agree with when it comes to power specking stuff. I know Ping do the retro, the standard, and the power spec. I don't really agree with power specking something, because you might as well just take a 5-iron rather than your 6-iron, if you know what I mean. Because all you're doing, unless you're changing the technology, you're just changing the loft. But when you're in a situation where you're changing the technology, lower, further back CG, really springy faces, you can get the same or higher peak heights, you can get the same or even steeper descent angles, but with longer distances. That is free distance, so you'd have to then obviously compare that. If you're going to go from an MX23 to a new modern day iron, it goes longer, but it doesn't go as high, and it goes in shallower descent angle wise. That's not free distance, and that's not as functional. So get fit, honestly. Right. What we got? Golf Addict, my swing speed has slowed down with age, 58. Won't be long before I'm there. It's 88, 94 miles an hour, and I'm borderline regular or stiff. I'm assuming you're saying that's with driver, because that's 7-iron, you're doing well. 88, 94 miles an hour, borderline regular or stiff. Right, okay, so Golf Addicts, as with everybody here, listen to this, this is quite important. Have I got one here? No, I haven't. Why have I not got a ruler? There's never a ruler around when you need it. Okay, so you remember when you were at school and you had a ruler and you used to ping it, you know, on the desk and move it along, so you get a brrrr, brrrr, like that kind of idea. Yep. Manufacturers, shaft manufacturers, utilize a very similar thing. So we're talking how many oscillations, and they will strap a weight to the end of it and basically just ping it, and they'll count how many times it does this. Yep. And one manufacturer and say, oh, that did 500. Well, that's our stiff. And another manufacturer will do the exact same thing on their shaft and ping it, and it will go, oh, that's 500. That's a regular. So what you'll find out is, Don, bedtime, see you later, sleep well. That actually oscillations and all this, when it comes to regular stiff, there is no such way of understanding what actually regular or stiff is. I have done fittings on the Mizuno Swing DNA system, which is great. It is really good if you get it in fit for irons. Don't ever get fit for a set of Mizuno irons and not get put on the Swing DNA. It's just an amazing piece of kit for the fitter to use anyway, so we can understand how you're offending the shaft, and also for you guys when it comes to using the DNA software, you can actually see exactly what your bend profile is and how you load the shaft and all that, and you can actually understand exactly why you need the shaft the way you do, rather than just trusting someone saying, oh, you need that one. But so when it comes to fittings, I have had fittings when it comes to using the DNA because of the bend profile they require and the spectrum of manufacturers, the three different types. One's been an R, one's been an S, and one's been an X. Because if they're the same bend profile or very, very similar bend profile, it's just how different manufacturers quantify what one is over the other. So yeah, there's no such thing as, but at an 88, 94 miles an hour, depending on how long your swing is, depending on how aggressive your transition is, depending on many, many different things. Remember also there's something called shaft cycling, and that sometimes also means that the stiffer you go, the faster you are. Now, that has much more to do with the fact of how much you're not losing in clubhead speed, because people have this feeling, has this understanding that they have this lag in the shaft and it whips through an impact. Well, no, actually it doesn't. What happens is it impacts the golf clubs that fall, has gone through past lag, has gone through past full lead, and is now returning back to neutral. So you're actually, when it comes to hitting a golf ball with a driver, you are losing clubhead speed as the mass of the shaft is moving forward. So going to a stiffer shaft can actually lose less speed, and so you gain more clubhead speed. Now obviously you've got to then marry that with the understanding that generally speaking stiffer shafts are heavier and all that thing, but different subject, but it gets complicated. Right, Nathan Wooden, hello Nathan, I'm playing the 2013 Mizuno MPH4s. Good golf clubs, really do. I love them, but they are 10-year-old technology. Has iron technology actually improved enough to make the cost of replacement worth it? Yes, it has, but it doesn't mean you're going to hit them any better. The H4s were brilliant, really were. Really were good golf clubs. So yeah, I think test them. Just test the new stuff. I mean, you're talking most closest to that one, direct replacement H4s to MP25 to possibly something like 225 or old MP20 HMB. That's going to be the closest when it comes to direct line for the timeline of that kind of technology that you're talking about. Still really good at iron, the old MPH4. Shafts from Niels here. Most important, weight or flex? I'm thinking weight is more impactful. Weight is an interesting one because weight has a dramatic, you should drink. There you go. Weight has a dramatic effect within a fitting. However, when it comes to the physical playing of golf for the passage of time, in a fitting, weight can make a huge difference. However, when you take that golf club out on the golf course and there's a continuation of playing golf, they get used to it really quick. And before you know, you might have a compromise in swing speed, marginal compromise in swing speed, but when it comes to weight, if they were doing something wrong beforehand, they will continue to do something wrong afterwards after a given amount of time with a heavier weight. If you want to change something very quickly in a fitting, if it's a sales-based thing, you can change something very quick and get a sale based on that change. the understanding more is for marrying a change, whether it be with weight or whether it be with bend profile, whether it be with a head or a what's it called? Brain's gone. Both of them. What's the word? Someone write down there what I'm trying to think, what the word I'm trying to think of. The joining of both and the impact that has and the influence that has on the person's swing for a more of a longer term fix. But when it comes to it, weight is impactful in the fitting. Flex or bend profile has a much more longer term impact on the physical performance of the golf club, as long as the player doesn't change it, if that makes sense. Nathan, thank you. I love your club reviews. They are the best and most useful that I have seen. Thank you, Nathan. It is very much so appreciated. It's the reason why I do what I do and the level of detail that I do it, because yeah, to try and make sure that honest information gets put out there. Your thoughts on the new Stealth 2 HD fairway woods? Thinking of getting the 5 wood and 7 wood, or are the core woods just as forgiving? I need to test the new Stealth 2 stuff. Reason I haven't got around to doing it, I've been busy doing other bits and pieces. I mean, I've still got this thing down here that I need to finish off doing the review of, as in I've done the review on it, I just need to do the editing for it. It's just been busy doing stuff. I mean, I've got I've finished all the data sets and stuff like that. I've got to do a little bit more filming and stuff of 223 versus Forged. The Forge is over there, so I'm busy. So yeah, editing takes a long time, especially the way I do things, unfortunately. I caused my own issue by doing the things that I do and the way I do it. If I didn't do it the way I did it, and I'd done it a little bit more like everybody else, editing would be much faster and making content would be much faster. The problem is, the content quality would drop a lot, and the ability for you to glean any kind of useful information out of it, unfortunately, would also dwindle to me becoming the same as everybody else. Now, that might be great for viewership and obviously eventually the revenue that I would get. However, I stand steadfast in what I'm doing, the fact that if this YouTube business is going to work as in full-time, long-term, I want to do it on the basis of me being exactly the way I am and not bending because of, yeah, so if it will work, it will work. If it don't, I'll go down honest, at least. Right, Don, well, one last question. I thought you went to bed. Any thought on metal shaft versus carbon shafts? I currently have iron shafts, dynamic hole 105 stiff. There are massive advantages in going graphite, we'll call it graphite, over steel in certain situations when it comes to certain golfers. Generally speaking, it's the people that need the weight saving, effectively. Senior golfers, you can still have a senior golfer that swings it in a certain way, but wants a slightly lighter weight, because obviously swinging a heavy golf club 85 times, 90 times around, whilst walking around and doing stuff like that, it does get tiring. So having a different weight option can make a huge difference to how much you enjoy golf going forward, especially as you get older. Cody R, did you ever test the Apex Pro 19? If so, how did forgiveness compare to MP20 MMC from memory? Did I test that? I did, didn't I? Apex Pro 19. That was a clippy one, wasn't it? That was a higher pitched one. Yeah, okay, it's coming back to me now. MP20 okay, so if you were to go, say, Apex Pro 19 against MP18 MMC, I would have said possibly Apex Pro. The MP20 with that copper underlay and the tungsten lump, they were a blooming good head, MP20 MMC. I'll be honest, as I always am. 223. A ridiculously good selling golf club for Mizuno, and it's a ridiculously good golf club. However, do you know what? I prefer the old MP20 MMC. It's a completely different golf club. So what I'm saying is that it's not even like for like. You can't even compare them because they're different technology. The 223 is basically like an MP JPX forged because of micro slot and stuff like that. But I did like the MMC. The MMC was brilliant. If you had a golfer that toe striked something as a pattern, MMC was brilliant with that tungsten lump. You can give them everything they wanted from an MP, a Mizuno Pro now, but an MP, but have the forgiveness there for the guys that hit them slightly out towards the toe. It was an amazing fitting tool in that sense. Dave Millard, great stuff as always. Wife has now come to bed and you aren't pretty enough to watch with the sound off. Shall I, if I unzip? No, we don't need that. Donkey, I'm in bed, good. Thanks. Right, talking about bed, it's now past. How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this now for, oh my word, I don't know. How long's this been going on for? Answers on a postcard. 2.5 hours. I am terrible, aren't I? I just keep going on. But the problem is I'm looking at people and they're still joining into view. I must be sort of like popping into the American market soon. Golf Tights AVX ball or Vice Pro soft for my 80 to 94 mile an hour driver swing speed. I'd be wary of AVX because of the low spin profile version of it, and without knowing your delivery dynamics, whether you need a low spin golf ball or not, but your speed is not very fast with driver. So if spin is very, very important for everyone, but for individuals that ain't got very fast swing speed and potentially has a low spin profile anyway, going to a low spin golf ball can actually be quite penal. But it's not directly comparison anyway to a Vice Pro soft either or. So it's not quite, they're two complete different golf balls, which is an interesting one. Cody R, great to hear as I'm a toe striker. You're the best in-depth reviewer out there by a long shot. Thank you. Cody, it's a pleasure. I'm glad that you get something from it, and I'm glad that everybody seems to. Because I'll be honest, when it comes to the channel, 99.2% of comments I get are great, very respectful, quite interesting. And I don't know who it was. Now, if the person is listening or the person is watching, they asked a question yesterday morning, I think it was, I can't remember, when I picked it up and I looked at it, and it's made me rethink everything that I do when it comes to ball testing. Now, I won't go into too much details because it's really technical, and whoever's still in bed watching will fall asleep straight away. And I don't want that to happen. However, because of the way that the technology that I use, the launch monitors that I use, capture information, it is put in doubt anything that I had going forward to do with ball testing in a way that I can do it in an honest way. Because it is the conversation that we had when it comes to the topic of conversation when it surrounding ball, it is a very, very interesting thing, but I won't do it because it will bore the crap out of people, and I don't necessarily want to do that. But it's an interesting one anyway. So I may or may not be doing any more ball stuff. If I do more ball stuff, it won't be necessarily with quad, because there's a reason, and I will go into that one if people want me to, but it's a really like technical physics based thing, and it would just cook everyone's noodle. Right, is everybody fed up now? Oh no, Cody's got one last question. Do you think new drivers would be a significant upgrade to an older Tour certified Rogue Sub-Zero, assuming both properly fitted? Tour certified? Older Tour certified basically means it's just been CT tested and stuff, so it's fine. So it's basically normal golf club within reason. When I was, do you think a new driver would be a significant upgrade to my older Tours over at Rogue Sub-Zero, assuming both properly fitted? No. If they're both properly fitted, a Rogue Sub-Zero is an interesting fit. A low spin head, unless, so generally speaking, the only people that need low spin heads are very, very good golfers that have a very high swing speed that need to control speed related spin. golfers that actually make very good contact with the golf ball, generally speaking, their application of face to path means, and the delivery dynamics means there's a too high a spin profile, and that means then you can drop it down, because unfortunately with the low spin drivers they are less forgiving. So golf next time. Yeah, no worries. Please do the ball discussion now or next time. Next time. Going for a driver fitting March 1st at TXG Calgary. Excited to see outcome. Yeah, I mean TXG, from what I understand, if it's the same one that I can see, obviously they've only got one, have they? Calgary's, that's in Canada, is it? Geography was never my strong suit. I haven't really travelled the world that much. I need to really. Nathan, I would be interested in the ball discussion also. Okay, well, we'll do it next time. We won't get many viewers on that because it will bore the out of people, but it's fine. But TXG do it really well. They do it great. They're a performance fitting centre, and they've got certain facilities on site to make changes there and then, which is brilliant. Yeah, not many places within the UK has similar things as well. Right, Canada, yes. I'd like to go see TXG, Ian, and that lot. I mean, I've through Mizuno and stuff like that, because they have like their own little ties. Toronto, Calgary, Toronto, and oh my word, MISS, that's it, yeah. AUGA, Mizuno. John Allison, morning, afternoon, good evening, good night, John, whichever way you are in the world. 56-year-old, 6 handicap, was playing off 12 at the start of last year, bought a lot of Callaway Super Soft. How much difference would switching to premium golf balls make? Brilliant question, right. Loads and none. Distance-wise, very little when it comes off the driver, if any, depending on what premium ball you get, because they're all slightly different. But yeah, within reason. However, when it comes to wedge spin, when it comes to the consistency of launch angle and controlling, all the pros turn around and talk about the relationship between the launch window when it comes to their wedges and how they like to launch the golf ball in a certain launch window. And that all that is to control flight, control spin, and control distance. The problem with a Shearlin or ionomer covered golf ball, which is distance golf balls they call it, but they all go the same distance, is that because you get you don't get as much grab, you get slip and roll. The golf ball slips and rolls up the face as it launches up, so it doesn't really get that much spin. It just basically goes ba-dong, off it goes. When it comes to a urethane covered, it grips the face, not necessarily the grooves. It will grip the grooves, there is a little bit in that, yes, so having sharp grooves may make a little bit more, but it's more the abrasiveness of the face when it comes to a wedge. As soon as you start seeing the little micro scratches that you get on a wedge, because obviously you hit golf balls, ground, dirt, and that basically makes little micro scratches up there, that's what changes the spin profile, the characteristics of a wedge, not how deep and how sharp the grooves are. But yes, would I go to a premium golf ball? Always. If you've got the money, then by all means buy premium golf balls. If you lose 18 balls around, buy the best ball you can afford, because you're losing 18 in a round. Great question. John was going to ask the same. Yeah. So there's always going to be much more consistent, controllable, performance-driven outcomes that you're going to get from a urethane-covered golf ball, especially in the long and in the short irons. In the long stuff, within reason, they are so close. There is not that much. I mean, even Titleist said this, and they've done a driver test at something like 100 and I can't remember what it was, something miles an hour with the driver, and they had all of their golf ball range. Out of all their golf ball range, there was about 4 yards in it from distance with the driver. From all of their balls at the same robot testing, 4 yards, 3 3/4 yards, I think it was, like ridiculously daft. But there you go. Don, so how often do you change a ball? After every round? Yeah. So, the new RB Tour. I'm a Tour, not a Tour X kind of guy. I was a Pro V1, not a Pro V1X kind of guy. I was a Vice Pro, not a Vice Pro. What was the other one? The other one, doesn't matter. Yeah, I am the softer version because I like the feeling. I have the Tour, not the Tour X, or the Pro V1 or the Pro V1X. Why? Because of my short game side of things. I buy this ball because of the putter and the chipping and the pitching and the wedge. I don't buy this ball because of the driver, because every single ball within reason feels exactly the same when you're talking about a driver. When you're talking about these, you buy balls on the basis of what you like from the green backwards, never from the tee forwards. Never do that. That's the daft way of doing it. But one of these, well, the old balls. I've got some old balls down here. No, I didn't. No, I threw them away. There you go. So I'm trying to tidy up. I need to do some more tidying up, to be fair. Now, when it comes Plus, thank you, Vice Pro Plus, thank you. When it comes to the old ball, the covers used to disintegrate, absolutely, completely disintegrate. Richard, hope you're well. I'll get to your question in a sec. I literally just saw you pop on, so hope you're well. So it disintegrated. So effectively, you had to change your golf ball. The old RB Tour with the cover, I'll be honest, I used to sort of change it out every 6 holes. But being honest, I'll be absolutely honest and frank. Well, you can call me Frank if you want. Jonathan tomorrow. I get my balls for free. Yeah, so I do not pay for golf balls. So I can afford quite easily to swap them out when they start getting marked. The vast majority of golfers, the cost of golf balls has to be an impact on what their habits on a golf course are. So depending on the golf ball they play, they could use it for a number of rounds. As a general rule, if you are playing urethane covered golf balls with a softer outer cover, you're going to have to look at probably changing them out and putting this one after you've used it for, I mean, they are very, very good now. These new RB Tours are vast improvements of the old one when it comes to durability. So you could probably use this one as long as you weren't cart pathing it or whacking it into too many trees. You could probably use this for a couple of rounds. But this one, yep, Don, you're right, after 18 holes, I normally put this in the practice bag, and that's what I'll use to chip with and stuff like that. I always use brand new golf balls to putt with. Vice Pro, yeah, also play Vice Pro, good golf ball, yeah. So Richard, hope you're well. Let's get to your question. What is your perspective on paying for upgrade exotic shafts in a custom fit versus standard shaft options available within the, oh dear, okay. Rich, I'm pretty certain you weren't around previously, or I have been doing this for quite some time now. I really need to go to bed. I had my little soapbox moment. I will have a little small soapbox moment again. Right, no one really should be paying for upgraded exotic shafts in their very expensive already 500 odd pound drivers. Why? I have been, in the entire time I have fitted, I have only ever had one individual who insisted, sorry, I was asleep, he was absolutely adamant, I want that shaft. And so we had to get it for him. That's absolutely fine. But every single other time, I have found a stock option or an upgrade which is free, so no upcharge upgrade, that has matched anything exotic. So I do find it hilarious how you're always going to get the odd one. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone like it, because I haven't fit every single person in the entire world. I didn't do the entire fitting for the entire planet last year. I had my little subset of certain people, you know what I mean? So, although my spectrum and my range of people is quite broad, it's not world biased. So, I do have a big issue though with the volume, the frequency of going for fittings and certain either brands or shops saying that you need this 500 pound head and it needs to be attached to a 500 pound extra shaft. That I have a huge issue with. It's not the one per year that they may do, it's the alarming frequency of the amount of time that it happens. That's the worrying thing. Galvanic, I love the Vice Pro Soft and the Striction Q-Star Tour Divide, orange and yellow. Yes, found they went further than the AVX or Pro V1 for me. Like a feeling softer ball, it could be just purely because of spin profile. There's a slight spin profile difference between them. The AVX especially is a lower spin profile golf ball, and the Pro V1 is a medium to lowish speed, is a medium to low-ish spin profile golf ball. There you go. Tour Divide is really soft. I like the orange yellow, but a bit too soft maybe. I like it from a point of view of it's soft. I like everything from the green backwards. So I could quite easily chip and putt with those all day. I'd have to make sure that I get them lined up like that, because I couldn't deal with all the different colours and like that, because my OCD would go crazy. Galvanic spring and fall, I use the Striction soft feel, quite super soft. Yeah, because generally speaking, I used to years ago. I used to go 8333 when I was in the winter time because of the soft greens and I didn't know how to control my spin. Up until that point, I had no idea how to control the spin, so I used ball to try and control spin, because obviously going to an 8333 won't have the same spin profile as a premium urethane covered golf ball. So I use technology, if you can call it that, to change what now I do in dynamic delivery. So I use the same golf ball all year round, which is great because that means I can keep consistency of flight, consistency of knowing how far I hit everything and stuff like that. And then when it comes to different times of the year, I will then change my spin profile dependent on obviously surface. When you're going into a harder green, you need to be coming in with slightly a bit more descent angle and a decent amount of spin. Right, so have everybody finished, because it is now 10 to 11, and I know the kicking boxes underneath. I know the American part of the globe, they're normally sort of like 5-6 hours behind, so this is sort of like getting on for what, 6 o'clock I suppose in the evening, so they'll be kicking on soon. Oh, I'm gonna need to go to bed though. You to drink. When you're talking constantly for a long time. But right, so before I go, I do want to say thank you very, 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 very much to everybody that has kindly donated. Even from Alex, $10, thank you very much. To Don for, I think it was €5, I think in the end he donated. That was very, very kind of you. Niels, Alex was 30, oh, what are they, Danish krone, I think they were. Thank you very, very much. That's really, I mean, everybody who does this, I mean, it's, I don't ask for it at all. It's just the people which do that, that's heartwarming. The fact that they feel that they want to contribute, or more so to the point of, what's the word when you're trying to, oh, I don't know, you can tell it's getting late. My brain's not working properly. When you want to support, as such, the channel, and it's really kind, and it really is. So thank you everybody that have done that. It's been really nice. I've got all the list down here. It's been really, really kind of everyone that has donated. Really is. I've got a few more questions, and then I've had 6 sets of irons the last 8 years and finally found my set in the Stealth irons. Love them. Stealth irons are great. I just found that the toe strikes, the more extreme toe strikes, didn't work very well, just because of that carbon plate they've got in the back there. But by taking that out, they've actually made the heel strikes amazingly good. So with obviously everything, generally speaking, is with one hand give, the others take away. And so when it comes to it, doing things like that, you can make different irons work for different people depending on obviously how you shift center of gravity around. So Golf Addict, have a great day. Thanks for answering my questions anytime. No, it's that's why I do it. So I have hopefully got that I did try and get the whole idea of this live stream done in the end. Notice your dispersion and how to take strokes off your handicap really quickly just by understanding what you do. Again, the link of that, the article will be in the description for however long I keep this on. Because I don't think I'm going to keep this on forever, because this is like 3 hours long nearly. So I don't think people are going to be watching this for 3 hours. But it's more just to sort of like say hello and stuff like that. So, right. I need to get on top of the technology side of this. So I don't think it's going to be too long before I jump back on again for a Q&A, because I need to learn exactly how this right at the very start works, because it just doesn't. I start it on here on OBS and then it goes over to when's the next live stream planned for? Oh, plan's an interesting word. I tend to plan it about half an hour before I think about I'm going to do one. So necessarily, yeah, I would say planned. I might do it. What about, should we make it a weekly thing? Okay, whoever's watching, right? Whoever's watching, if, just write in there what day of the week. Weekends as well, but weekends not so much, I'll be honest, but if it can be the day of the week. What's the best day of the week you'd like a live stream? Go on, stick it in there now, and I will wait to see the onslaught of any chance for TSR2 versus G430 driver review? Possibly, Paul? Yeah? I think I've got access to Titleist woods now. That's the thing. So if I can get hold of anything, I'm going to try and get the Stealth 2 stuff done. I've still got the last Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond to finish off editing. I want to try and get some of the Titleist irons done. I've got to get hold of them and the Strixon stuff as well. Got so much to try and get hold of and do. So, right. So if everyone's got an idea of what day they'd like me to do it on, just write it down there quickly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, whatever. And then whatever I get as a general consensus, I will then, Monday or Thursday. Okay, that's brilliant. Monday. People that have, so Alex already, his vote counts for 3 because he very kindly donated money, and that, I can't really do anything else other than sort of like give him extra weight. Richard as well, didn't you donate last time? If I remember, that's what you did, so your one counts for 3 as well. That's funny. I'm not quite sure that's how democracy works, is it? But there you go. It does here. Anytime really, Fridays work well. Is it Friday today? No, it's Thursday today, isn't it? I don't know what day. What day is today? Hang on, where's the phone? Thursday. It's Thursday day. Fridays work. Thursdays, Monday or Thursday works well. Evenings, any time, Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Or Paul, what is the time where you are at the moment? I don't know what EST, Eastern Standard Time, whatever that is. I ain't got a clue. I come from the place where time is 0. I'm on that 0 line. I don't get when it comes to the rest of it. I know America's like 5 to 7 hours dependent. Oh, Rich, oh, does that mean your vote has to count for 6 now? Richard, thank you very much. You've just donated £4.99. That's a very, very kind of you. Right, so that means Richard's now, he counts for 3 on top of the 3 times he did last time. So Richard said, what did Richard say? Thursday. And Niels has also said Thursday. He donated, so his vote counts for 3. This is really looking like it's going to be it's going to be a Thursday live stream. So Richard, ha ha ha, yeah. Golf at 4 p.m. in Canada. Is this, so okay, for the people in America and stuff like that, is this time affecting people's work? As in the case of you should be working rather than listening to me prattle on. This 21 in Central Eastern Time schedule is fine. 2100, I started this at, what time was it? 8? Yeah, 8 o'clock. I've been going 3 hours nearly. Yeah, +1 for Thursdays. Okay, it's going to be, and well, no, Alex, it's not just +1 for Thursdays, because you donated, didn't you? You $10. You thank very kind as well for donating $10. You did, so that definitely counts as 3. So everyone at the moment is Thursday is getting a pummeling. Thursday is definitely a day. Golf Addict, just $5. Thank you very much. What did Golf Addict? What is your name? Please go on. Let's get a bit more. I'm very overly familiar. I always shorten people's names and stuff. It's an affectionate thing, isn't it? As well. Central European time. Thanks. Yes, I should be working. Sorry. I feel largely bad now. Don't get in trouble just on my behalf. It is having a bit of fun and answering questions and stuff like that, but it's like, no. The whole idea is not to get in trouble. Yeah, I think honestly Thursday is getting the most traction. So it's either Monday or Thursday, isn't it? Golf Addict says Monday or Thursday. He's donate. We got Alex also for Thursdays. Shannon, Thursday. Right, cool. Shannon, I was trying to remember because I'm terrible. When I used to do live streams a bit more, was it 2018? There was a few people that I'd got used to actually, obviously their handle, their YouTube handle, but obviously nothing to do with their name. And so I was starting to get used to different people from different parts of the world and or who they were called, etc. So it's going to take me a little while to get used to things. But right, so Thursday is looking a good day. And so, yeah, that's what we'll do, I think. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, I think, because I think it's got to a point where 3 hours is enough, really. I'm glad that I have answered as many questions as I possibly could. And Forrest Jenkins, weekdays, great, GRE. Yep. I'm thinking Thursday. I think the overwhelming consensus is Thursday. Alex doesn't mind getting disrupted from working on a Thursday. He thinks that he's only got 1 day extra after that one to do, so wasting a bit of time or starting the Friday feeling early is not a bad idea. And everyone else is thinking Thursday, so that's what we'll probably do. Right, so unless everyone else has got any questions, I will depart. I will log off. So yeah, Shannon says, yeah, 3 hours is way more than enough. We appreciate it. It is way more than enough. But the problem is, you start talking and start chatting, and then before you know it, 3 hours is gone. I'll just say later to catch up, so no worries. I'll just say later. Really? You are, see what, you're a devoted worker, I must admit. I'll just stay later to catch up. Right. There would be Thursday votes with the stream being today anyway. Well, it would be. I think the last one was my last stream on a Monday. And I think, if I remember, I'll be honest, when it comes to the last one, I think there was more concurrent viewers going on a Monday, being honest, I think it was. So it's still, I'm still going for Thursday at the moment because the people that matter, the ones that have very kindly donated, so their views count far more than mine. And it doesn't matter to me what time I do it anyway. So, okay, Thursdays it will be until we get like a push for another day. Right, hope everyone has got some enjoyment out of this. Shannon's thumbs up. And then, yeah, I'll come probably back next Thursday. I'll remember to make sure I do the, and I'll tell you what I will do. I'll get the microphone plumbed into the old computer by the side of me. And that means then when I flick over to like this view, other bits and pieces, we can do it so you can actually see me and hear me rather than just see me. So I can do some demonstrations and stuff like that, and you can actually physically see what's going on and hear at the same time. So, right, hope everyone enjoyed that one. It's been a long one. Anyone who's been here from start to finish, other than me, well, obviously I've been here. There you go. So I'm the most, no. Then, yeah, you know, okay. I don't know if anyone has watched the How Ridiculous YouTube channel. And they have this thing called the 44 Club. And the 44 Club are basically the ones that stay to the end of the video. I should do something like that here, because anyone who has stayed from the start to the end, yeah, deserves something, doesn't it? Right. Everyone, hope they enjoyed the time. It has been fun. I will work on my ability to try and get technology working better. And hopefully by Thursday work a few more kinks out. But yeah, so thank you very much, guys. No other questions have come up, which is good. Everyone's deciding they want to go to bed, and it's not a bad idea, because it is too. Is my NAS still going? I can't turn my PC off because my new network attached storage, because my 10 terabytes that I've got in my PC for my archived stuff is full. So people talking about how much it costs to do YouTube stuff. Anyone who wants to go on the internet and research how much a 4-bay QNAP NAS with a 10 gigabyte connection costs, go ahead. And then how much 4 6 terabyte NAS hard drives cost, Google that by all means. You kind of get the impression, oh, then you've got to then buy a 10 gig PCIe card to go into your PC so it can take the 10 gig in stream. That's the kind of stuff you have to pay out for when it comes to doing things like YouTube, which is frustrating, but it's, yeah. But there you go, that's a part of the business, I guess, isn't it? But that's still going on in the background, because I've formatted it in a RAID 5, whatever. If anyone knows what that means, then you're geeky like me. But I'm learning about it anyway, because I'm having to, more than anything else. So, hope everyone is good. Thank you very much for all your comments. Thank you very much too. Very, very quickly, I will just say, so Don, thank you very much, Don. It's been brilliant for you all too. You've had, Alex, thank you very much. Niels, thank you very much for the after work beer. Love that. Even Alex said there's something towards your beverage fund. YouTube drink. Jess Collins, thank you very much for that, US $10, that's brilliant. Richard Skinner again, thank you. And Shannon, also, thank you very much for your donation. That's absolutely, completely and utterly unrequested, but it was the fact that you give it at your own kindness of your own heart. Warms my stony heart. I said this last time, didn't I? My wife calls me Data, because she thinks I've got a cold heart sometimes. But no, that means the world to me. When it comes to YouTube and we live in a world of advertising, we can't get around it. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. When people do things like that, that by far means more to me than anything else, because people that are physically giving even a tiny amount of money to support the channel, and support me and what I'm trying to do, and I spend so much time I'm doing it to try and give the right information. It is a daft thing. We're not talking about something important, it's golf, but it's this daft thing that everyone seems to get a ridiculous amount of enjoyment from. And it's a huge business and stuff like that, so let's just sort of try and do as best we can do to get some information out there which is honest, so at least we can try and influence people's buying decisions to be a bit more based on actual information, rather than the wonderful world of marketing that we all live in. So right guys, hope everyone is well. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you very much for participating in this rather long live stream. Appreciate it. And if all is well, we'll go for next Thursday, about 8 o'clock or so, yeah? UK time, whatever that time that means around the world, because unless you want me to come on at 1 o'clock in the morning, hashtag not happening, Well, it might do one day, you never know. I'm awake at all weird times. I wonder how many viewers I'm going to get by coming at 1 o'clock in the morning. Probably not that many. So yeah, anyway, hope you're well everyone, and pleasure as always, and we'll see you again soon.